Welcome to your new wrestling obsession. This is Off the Mat. In a week where we're going to talk about fallout from Money in the Bank. We're going to talk about CM Punk potentially selling out, changing his stance, putting the almighty dollar over everything else.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Raw. We're going to talk about SmackDown. We're going to talk about NXT. We're going to talk about so much in the world of professional wrestling, a world that right now I have a love-hate relationship with, and we are at the hate stage of our relationship, and I'll explain why. All that and so much more tonight on this brand new episode of Off the Mat. Styx, Dom, how are you guys this evening? How's it going?
I feel you, Matt. I feel you. I feel what you're going through. You know, I understand.
Do you?
I know I do. Because I knew
people understand.
Because I knew that once Raw went off the air, I knew that you were gonna message in the chat. I knew it because you know I was saying to myself, I had in my mind that I had a different ending, a way different ending.
That happens, yeah.
But for a clean ending to win the belt, Gunther reclaiming his championship off of Jey Uso, there's reasons behind it, and we'll discuss that as the show goes on. But I understand where you're coming from, but as a business standpoint and as an entertaining standpoint, there's a reason behind it, and we'll talk about that.
What, that Triple H is slowly descending into being Vincent Kennedy McMahon 2.0?
Yeah and no, and also the TKO Corporation Y. So, well, like I said, it's a TKO. That's a TKO movement. That definitely is. That's coming from, and look, that's coming from the higher anarchy of the company.
You mean the hierarchy?
Okay, yeah, anarchy.
I like higher anarchy too. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
the higher anarchy.
Right up there with slow style.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Let's start the show talking about what potentially was going to be our top news story. I want to talk about. I don't know. How do you guys want to do this? Do you guys like when I put the graphics on the screen for the news stories, or do you want to just free flow and talk about the news?
Let's free flow. Let's free flow and do it, because I think we have a better just shooting the breeze about it. You know, we already know what the headline is. We already know what the problems is. The craziness. So let's just.
Well, we're gonna start with R-Truth, and at Money in the Bank, R-Truth made his shocking return.
Yep.
And we now know that he is no longer R-Truth. He's Ron Killings. But apparently the return of R-Truth has some higher WWE brass very, very worried. WWE made the decision to bring back R-Truth after fans' outcry over his release from the company, but this was reportedly left some higher-ups worried. According to Wrestler Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer, he said that some of the brass were not very encouraged by the returning of Ron Killings because they're worried that it's giving the fans too much of a voice. Dave Meltzer said they didn't count on this, WWE. You know, it's funny because the whole thing is it does prove that fans have a voice. And some people have gone, well, now the fans know they have a voice and they can hijack the show, which is exactly what everyone in WWE didn't want. And I don't say everyone, but most people in WWE on the top side are in fear of. Meltzer added that fans may feel galvanized by the even more critical or future cuts, believing they can pressure WWE to U-turn on releases. And now all of a sudden they did that, and it's basically dude, reading what Dave Meltzer writes is like reading what my 3-year-old is trying to interpret things.
Yep.
What happens with the next round of cuts? You know what I mean? It's like before, it's one thing where it's like whatever, but this next round of cuts is like people are gonna go, hey, you could just get this guy back if we're sad. Truth returned by attacking John Cena during Money in the Bank 2025 pay-per-view event, allowing for Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso to beat Cena and Logan Paul. Thoughts on on Meltzer's comments, the fears of WWE brass, and basically being fearful of the people that put them where they are, the fans.
Well, it is about the fans. It is about the fans. It's always been about the fans. They always said that. I think I think this outcry was bigger than ever before to a certain point because it was a particular wrestler. Even though R-Truth is not utilized as much, he is a well-liked personality and wrestler in the clubhouse and in the clubhouse for the show for WWE. People love him. I don't think anything like this has happened before with cuts that we had before that they brought back people. If you remember, I don't know if you can remember anything. I don't know if we had something similar to this. But I think it is good that the fans did have some kind of say on bringing back someone that look, I understand cuts have to happen, because you're paying money to people for not doing anything. And it's like all businesses, you have to go, and it sucks. And this is the corporation way. Like even Vince McMahon cut people. There was a lot of cuts in Vince McMahon when he was running the show. And I don't think that there was a bigger outcry than this with releasing R-Truth and for the fans and crying and bringing them back. I don't think that the fans will hold the shows hostage, feeling sad if somebody gets cut. I think certain individuals that are on the roster that they do love and they do like. Come on, in the back, he was funny. Now the crazy thing is that he's not going to be the same person in the back. Nope. We got him back. He's different. I could see him coming out, lighting a cigarette, and just chilling out on the commentators and going and just having a. Can he be world champion? Is he going to be more part of the mainstream? Pushing his way to win a title and a mainstream title, not a 24/7 title, not any bullshit title, but something real. Yeah, he won the tag team championship with Miz a couple of times here and there. But can we see him winning something bigger now because of the fans' cry and bringing him back? I think this was a good move by the company bringing him back. But I don't think that every time the fans are going to cry for every little person, that goes. Because we've been having cuts for years. And I just think that
I mean, to be fair, I don't hear Dakota Kai chants. I don't hear, who else got cut?
Freaking Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I don't hear Braun Strowman chants.
Yeah, so it's the particular wrestler. People like R-Truth. R-Truth was a funny bastard. Backstage, all the segments he had, and the last segment he had before he was released, going, "Wow, you guys are big boned." Tell you something to come out into that's just freaking funny, But now his character is changed. Are the fans going to adapt to his character like they did when he was R-Truth? That's another thing.
Well, I think the big question too is like we don't know what this contract is. All we know is that they're saying it was a mutually agreed upon deal, and that he gets to use the name Ron Killings instead of R-Truth. We don't know how long it's for.
Yeah, the one thing I heard, the one thing I heard about his new deal was that he wanted to use Ron Killings again so that he can use his name, so that when he does end up leaving again, he can use the name for independent and appearances.
Yeah, so is he here for?
I think he's only going to get a 6 month deal.
Here for a year? You think 6 months?
I think 6 months.
6 months. I think up into the next round of cuts, because there will be another round of cuts.
But they're cutting left and right. They're cutting whenever they want to.
I almost think that it's a deal where it's going to be friendly to him, where he can go, you know what? Instead of WWE looking like the bad guy, being the company guy he is, I wouldn't be shocked if, like, instead of WWE being the bad guy, R-Truth comes out, Ron Killings comes out at some point. And he's like, I decided not to return to WWE. I'm deciding to leave WWE instead of WWE cutting him and looking like a bad guy to prevent fan backlash again. It's going to be, listen, I'm deciding to leave. I'm going to go X, Y, and Z because, you know, them. He didn't have a non-compete clause because it's not like, let's not get twisted. They didn't cut him. All they said was, we are choosing not to renegotiate your contract, re-sign your contract. That's it. They didn't really cut him the way they did a Dakota Kai or, you know, Shayna Baszler or, you know, even Carlito. They were like, okay, well, we're not going to renegotiate your contract.
Exactly. And also the Miz, they're not going to negotiate his contract either. They're talking about, you know, down the road. Look, let's put it this way. There, you know, the one thing I can also say, I feel that, you know, I feel bad for Triple H for one particular reason. I know he has bosses that he has to answer to, and he has to do the thing. He has to do the job that nobody wants to do. You know, firing people, getting rid of people, this and that. And online, I see a lot of hate for Triple H for doing this. Doing this, and it brought back the racist comment, the racist thing that he's racist towards black wrestlers. You know, because you know, like Swerve Strickland and a couple other wrestlers that he let go, you know, and stuff like that. That they didn't get chances and this and that. And it's hard, and I feel bad because look, I don't know Triple H personally as a like I talk to him every day. You know, I know he has a job just like everybody else. You know, the company. You know, he tries to make the best he possibly can. And look, yeah, well, we're gonna talk about the whole Jey Uso thing with Gunther thing down the road.
Don't get me started, Don.
I know.
Get me started.
But I just feel bad that he was getting a lot of hate. You know, get rid of him, fire him, this and that. Look, if you're getting messages, you got to blame The Rock too. The Rock is Triple H's boss. Too.
I don't know how much of The Rock goes to blame in this because you got to think this is coming up from higher. So this is coming from the higher TKO, like Ari Emanuel. Like, TKO is coming to WWE and be like, look, here's your budget for the year. This is the number we got to meet. Yep. You need to make cuts. This is who you got to cut. And I don't think it was personal. I just think R-Truth is 54 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and he's
my age. Dude, he's my age. Look, let's put it this way. The shit that he's doing in the ring, I have to applaud for a 54-year-old man because I went to the gym. I couldn't even freaking do squats today and freaking leg press. My legs were hurting. And I couldn't do the workout, my leg workout the way I wanted to. And I'm 54. I'll be 55. And for him to achieve what he's doing, jumping ropes, getting thrown out of the thing, and putting that abuse to his body, I have to applaud that because it's not an easy gig.
And kudos on him for still doing it at a insanely high level.
Exactly.
But he is 54. Now, he also has this unique ability to turn dog shit into gold. Yeah. WWE gives him a dog shit promo. He goes out there and says, yes, sir, can I have another? And he performs it, and it kills. He's a company man through and through. And the fans seen that.
And they love it.
The fans love that. The fans got behind that. The fans wanted more for Truth. And so just like we cried, for 10 years, CM Punk.
Gonna say something about that.
You're going to do the same thing for Truth. Fans get behind people that are behind them. Truth has always been one with the fans. He's always been a fan guy. He's always been a company guy. There's a reason why the minute he gets let go, you're getting outcries from people that are no longer with WWE.
That's it. Exactly.
Talking about how good Truth is and, wherever, hoping they get to have another match with him. He could have went anywhere. I'm glad that they got brought back. What makes me upset, well, it doesn't really make me upset. Kudos for Truth for standing your ground, for saying, you don't want me. The fans cried foul, and now you want me back. Fuck you. No, not going to do it. Not going to do it. It took Ari Emanuel, not Ari Emanuel. It took Nick Khan to go to Truth and say, listen, dude, it's business. No hard feelings. This is what we're trying to do. Let's get something done. And then for Triple H to come out and straight up just spit in our face as the fans, think we're stupid, and say, oh, it's all a work. Did you enjoy the show? It's all part of the show.
You know what?
No. And for a true son to come out on social media and go, no, it's not part of the show.
That's the company, man. The company had him say that, man. And Triple H is not going to say that. Oh, and Jaden, yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that comment. You know, that he would have went to AEW and been able to wrestle. I know. But at the end of the day, I don't think that Truth wanted to leave WWE. I think he likes WWE a lot. You know, he loves the fans here. And don't get me wrong, AEW would probably lick their palms to freaking goddamn get him, like, oh, and put him on be a mainstream, a main player there. But I think he wanted to stay with WWE. That was his main thing all along. But it sucks that corporate shit always tries to, listen, like The Rock. He comes out, Cena turns heel. You know, he brings he has a storyline with Cody. He breaks that. It doesn't work. And then you come out that is all part of the show. I know it's not part of the show. Triple H had to say that because he knows those questions are going to come. He knows those questions were going to come about the firing and the rehiring. He had to say something. You know, he's not going to strictly go like this. Well, you know what? The fans outcries, this and that. We had no choice to bring him back, this and that, because they love this guy. They're not going to say that.
But why can The Rock say it, but Triple H can't say it? Why can't he come out and go, we are owned by TKO. We are not a family-owned company anymore. We are giving a budget. We are told that we need to make X amount of dollars and that we need to make cuts. We looked at the books. We looked at the contracts. We looked at whose contract was coming up. We looked at whose contract wasn't coming up. We looked at who's on TV, who's top, who sits where, and we're trying to get younger. So,
well, look, this is the thing. Look, as you say that, I understand where you're coming from. They're not going to say that. No company will come out and say that. I would like them to say that. The truth, Don
Topper does look like Adam Pearce.
Well, thank you. I wish I had his money. My thing is, I think no company will say what you want them to say until
I understand.
They will try to turn things around. Look, they want to cut corners. There's a lot of rumors out there that they want to cut money off of Roman Reigns because he's never here. But he's the biggest star, the biggest box draw that is happening. And that we got to see come the fall when they, Netflix. They're talking about Netflix is that they're losing viewership and things are dropping because the product they wanted, the product that they took is not what they're getting.
Yeah. And Monday was a great example of that.
Exactly. So
Money in the Bank is a great example of that. And I'm
too many pay-per-views, too many PL events, too many things that are happening with wrestling right now. When you go mainstream and corporate, they're money hungry. They don't give a shit about you.
Well, and it depends on who you believe, because there's some people out on TikTok going around saying that TKO is billions of dollars in debt, and that they're doing this to try and recoup money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. So you got to look at it this way. It's gonna be a bumpy road because, let me tell you something. There's a lot of people probably in the next wave of cuts that are going to come. That's going to be even bigger than the people who got cut now. Because you gotta look. You have to sit back and say, is Roman Reigns going to be here 100%? 100%.
No, we'll talk about Roman Reigns in a little bit, but he's going to be used as a Brock Lesnar. He is the new, all intents and purposes, he is the new Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. He's
going to come around for a couple months of year to be this attraction, and then he's going to take time out. Again, he did the same thing last year. We won't see him again until SummerSlam. From WrestleMania to SummerSlam, don't count on Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing too. You have all these old wrestlers. I understand they want to bring young talent, but the old wrestlers are what is bringing the box to draw of what people are paying for. The CM Punks, the Roman Reigns, the Seth Rollins. Yeah, Seth Rollins. this might be Seth Rollins' last push. If you really think about it.
I don't think so.
He's 41. He's 42 years old, Seth Rollins?
No.
40. I think he said he was 41 or 42, yeah. So, yeah. I don't think it's his last push. I think he's still got a few good years left in him.
Rollins is only 39.
All right, he's 39.
Yeah, still got a few years.
Okay, he could have maybe one or two more pushes in his for the rest of his career. But I'm just saying that the younger guys are going to get more of the spotlight now. They want to bring the younger talent, but you need to mesh in the veterans with the younger talent to make things work. And I like.
Unless it's a clean slate, your younger talent isn't going to get any kind of push without the older guys. So you got to have some kind of veteran, just like in any other kind of sports team. You got to have a veteran or veteran to help your younger guys, motivate your younger guys, and get them to do what they're supposed to do. Teach them. That's how they learn. And it's the same thing with wrestling, It always has been. Every time someone new comes in, they're kind of putting a push with one of the older guys, So it's all cyclical, it all goes around one. So it's hard to say. Age is just a number. We all know that. So.
Well, speaking of all that and making cuts to make room for talent, there's rumors that a new Bloodline member is going to debut on SmackDown tomorrow night. PW Insider is reporting that New Japan Wrestling standout Hikuleo is expected to be backstage at Friday's episode of SmackDown in Lexington, Kentucky. Although he signed with WWE nearly a year ago and was originally destined for NXT, Hikuleo never appeared on the brand. According to sources, WWE has long considered him a main roster caliber talent, and plans now appear to confirm that, with the NXT seemingly being skipped entirely. Amid the ongoing chaos with the Bloodline storyline, there's growing speculation that Hikuleo could debut as part of that angle. The son of WWE legend Haku, Hikuleo spent nearly a decade in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he held multiple titles and also made appearances in AEW and TNA.
That's another thing. That's another thing that they've been doing. Why are they spoiling things? I wouldn't mind watching SmackDown and all of a sudden he comes out like, I would have been, holy shit.
Draw interest. Draw interest is what it is. 100%.
Look, it goes with Asuka. Why did you ruin the return of Asuka?
To draw interest, to draw Asuka fans that aren't watching the product back to the product.
Yeah, Adam Pearce.
There you go. I mean, you can do that. You can do that and get people to go back and rewatch what you put out.
It's like, it's like here. Say if Brock Lesnar ever comes back, just say if he ever comes back, I want to be surprised with him coming back in an angle where it comes back and I'm like, oh, holy shit, he's back. Instead of going, next week, Brock Lesnar is going to be here. Like, they already talking about what next Monday. Here, Bill Goldberg.
I've got that on there.
Yeah, I know. But see, it's like, why? I know you want to draw interest, you want to bring people. But I think if you have the element of surprise, it makes more of a, more compelling of a storyline. Like this dude coming back from the Bloodline. Who's he going to be working with? Is he working with Jacob Fatu, or is he working with Solo?
I think he might be working with Jacob Fatu. He might be the counterpart with Jacob Fatu to equal out JC Mateo.
Yeah, maybe.
Jeff Cobb.
But at the end, it would have been fun to see, who the hell is that? Holy shit, he's here. Oh, this is going to get...
Which,
now, he's coming.
By the way, let me put it this way. Terrible decision by WWE. I think they should have put JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb with Seth Rollins as well. Instead of Bronson Reed.
Really? Really?
I think having JC Mateo and Braun Breaker over Bronson Reed would be just a much better. Because what does he have to? You could have put Bronson Reed back with Solo Sikoa because Bronson Reed and Solo Sikoa were in the same team
Exactly.
in War Games.
Exactly.
So why JC Mateo being with Solo Sikoa doesn't make sense, and they haven't explained why.
Not yet. And then I don't think they are.
He ain't blood. He ain't blood. He ain't Samoan. He ain't part of the bloodline. Like, why? I mean, it makes sense for Bronson Reed to be there because of what he did for them at War Games.
Yeah.
But then just automatically have him come back from breaking 2 ankles for this guy, and he's like, I'm gonna join Seth Rollins. Why? Oh, because he put a massive beating on Seth Rollins, gave him the beating of a lifetime. Okay, but that doesn't explain why you want him to join your team.
Yeah. Look, this is the thing. We go back to pay cuts and people getting the release to bring in the new talent that's coming in. For the last 2 years, they've had people coming up. WWE signed that person, signed this person, signed that person. And they're slowly coming up or going to the NXT brand, which the thing that bothers me is that you have guys that should be on the main roster that is stuck in NXT. And you got guys that are just coming straight onto the main roster. Does that make any sense? Does that make,
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
I know, but he should have at least had some kind of NXT experience before he comes up. Come on, you're talking about bringing up these other talent from NXT. There's people that should be coming up. Hey, look, and after that, you got more people coming in. I'll be jealous and pissed off if I'm busting my ass at NXT to come up to get to the main roster, and all of a sudden you bring in somebody. Oh yeah, he's going to run the main roster.
That happens everywhere, though, Dom. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it in your work.
Well, I know.
You're working hard, you're working.
I made comments about it.
And they hire someone over you. Yeah, I mean that happens. It's not right. I don't ever think that's right, but
I know it's not right. But it just makes me laugh because you're going to bring him in main roster, and hopefully, it does work out. Like I said, the story angle. I don't know what the story angle would be, but I think Matt's right that it might be Jacob Fatu's enforcer.
I want him to go with Solo Sikoa. I want them to stack the odds against Jacob Fatu. And then at SummerSlam, Jacob Fatu's savior is Zilla Fatu. And we get Jacob and Zilla together in WWE. That's what I want.
And then you might get Jacob talking to some other players because it's not about bloodline anymore. It's about dominant team. So you have going up to play. Hey, you could have like the likes of McIntyre's coming back in SummerSlam. You know that for a fact. He's coming back.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think McIntyre's coming back till... And I think McIntyre is going to be gone off WWE TV until the day John Cena is going to lose his belt. And I think John Cena is going to lose that belt to McIntyre with the help of The Rock. And you're going to find out that The Rock's chosen one. The one that he really sold his soul to was Drew McIntyre all along. Drew McIntyre is the one that sold his soul to The Rock. It's been there.
I'm not holding my breath.
Hey, it's been there. They've placed the seats, and
they did mention the final boss again. Yes, they did.
Well, not just that, but you've got, you had that exchange between Drew and The Rock before Mania. Then you had Drew is now the face of The Rock's Under Armour campaign. So why wouldn't it? It would not be surprising that when John Cena is going to drop that belt, probably, I don't know if I want to say SummerSlam. I'm going to say eliminate. I'm going to say Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego. Why is it so hard to believe that we get The Rock involved in one way or another, even if it's Return of the Titantron Rock?
Yeah.
To say John Cena.
He went back to 2027 because he's busy like 2 or 3 movies that he's doing.
John Cena was never my chosen one. My real chosen one was this man. And Drew McIntyre's music hits. I'm just saying that's what I'm thinking. But
no, I believe in you, Matt. I believe in you. I love your speculation, man. I love your theories. I love it.
Right now, I mean, I don't know. I'm at such odds with professional wrestling right now.
Listen, it's all part of the bigger picture, man, and I understand. But we'll get to it. We'll still get to the Jay and Gunther scenario where but yeah. So the spoiling of people returning, people who are just coming in, I am not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the element of surprise and being surprised. Like, hey, we all know who's gonna be part of that King of the Ring tournament. It looks like it might be freaking what's his name?
It's gonna be Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn
Versus Bronson Reed.
No, there's only 2 of them, isn't it?
Bronson Reed, and there's like a mystery guy.
Well, I'm talking about the final. So the finals is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn. I don't think part of me wants to say Sami's going to win, but now with the way they're going, I think Cody wins to face off against Cena at SummerSlam.
No, I think it's going to be Sami wins. You're going to do it in the.
But right, but you give him the King of the Ring win in Saudi Arabia, or do you wait until Royal Rumble and you give him the Royal Rumble win?
Well, I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. You got to give him some kind of a win. It made freaking Karrion Kross happy.
And I think you're gonna get Jade Cargill. Is going to be. Is that a child?
Yeah, in the hallway. Yeah, yelling. I don't know.
I think Jade Cargill's winning the women's Queen of the Ring.
He's set for a big push. We're talking about. But
so what do we got? We got Zayn already won one. Then
Dragunov is going to be the mystery guy.
SmackDown. I'm not sure which one's going to be for this week. It's going to be Orton, LA Knight, Alexander Black, and Carmelo Hayes.
Well, I don't think Orton's going to win. I don't think LA Knight's going to win because he's going to have a major feud with Seth Rollins and gang. So he's coming to Raw. So did you get the thing I sent you? I told you it's going to be the end of the year, the end of after Survivor Series or SummerSlam is going to be the draft going into the new year for the.
I said we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But going back to what Dom was talking about with the returns. According to the report from PW Insider, Goldberg is scheduled to appear on the June 16th episode of Monday Night Raw in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He is expected to have a consistent presence on the show in the lead up to Saturday night's main event special in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, WWE has not officially confirmed the event as the location for Goldberg's final match. Rumor has persisted for months, pointing to that show as the likely venue, which would make sense because he's from.
But I don't think that's going to be his final show. I don't. Let me tell you something. For his final match to go against Gunther,
I mean, if you listen to what Goldberg says, he can barely move.
Exactly.
Right now, let alone
exactly. So, yeah, give or take, you're gonna have Gunther come on top to win that thing for his last match, or have him win. He wins the championship belt. Come on, that's the thing. You're gonna have him lose his retirement match. That's the thing. It's
well. Here's the other thing about this too: is WWE is pretty much admitting that they listen to wrestling podcasts, the IWC, and they're changing the shows based on what the majority of the IWC is saying, because there was a lot of talk that Goldberg was going to be at Raw on Monday night here in Phoenix. And they basically said, well, we decided not to do that. There's people saying we decided not to do that because people expected it, because people were talking about it. So they made Jey Uso lose the belt on Monday to Gunther because people were expecting him to beat Gunther and expecting Goldberg to come out. And they basically said, well, we've listened, and all the chatter was that they expect Jey Uso to win and they expect Goldberg to come out. So they're trying to do it to make you expect the unexpected.
And look, I like that, and I don't like that. But I do like the fact that if you're going to have somebody come out or somebody show up, I love the surprise element. I love that. But I don't, you know what, Matt?
I don't want them.
Matt, you know what? You're right. I'm at a crossroads with wrestling now. I really am.
Yeah. I don't want them listening to us and trying to figure out what we want and what we don't want. I want them to do their own shit. like they've always done without listening to podcasters or the internet. When we had the Attitude era, we didn't have that kind of.
Well, we also didn't have the internet really during
We
the
also didn't have the
era.
internet.
The internet was in its infancy.
Exactly.
Yeah, my point is they didn't have to have that. They were able to make great storylines without having to have fan input. Fan input, as we've seen in the past week with the Ron Killings stuff, it's put it over the edge because people, yes, they want R-Truth back. Well, guess what? You're not getting R-Truth back. You're getting Ron.
But
It's going to be a complete 360 of what you want.
You see what you said about the Attitude Era? The story you got? It was changed about hundreds of times before the show even went on the air. Yeah. As the show went on the air, Vince McMahon changed what was going to happen. So,
but
at least
still what we got was
well, and I don't think you can make a fair comparison with the Attitude Era, because the Attitude Era, everyone talks wrestling in person or on message boards. You didn't have Billy Bob sitting there with his Coors Light picking belly button lint out of his belly button with his camera phone going, oh shit, look at this guy back here. Oh, look who's at Raw. Yeah. You didn't have that. No. So it could still be a spectacle. And now it's not. And it's worse when the people who are like The Rock, who are supposed to be making it a spectacle, come out in the press conference and go, oh, this is all fake. Yada, yada. Or Triple H being like, enjoy the show. It's all part of the show. No, it's not. We know it's not. And you can't force feed us that it is.
I understand where you're coming from. Like I said, Matt, I'm with you. Yes,
but that's not the reason why I'm
I know. Look, you don't
upset with professional wrestling.
Yeah, this thing. Look, from what we got from opening night on Netflix, what they did with Netflix, breaking the storyline, breaking character, just because it was the shareholders show. To show the shareholders, look at this event we have. That screwed up everything moving forward. If you really think about it. The bloodline storyline was abruptly interrupted, which would have still been going on right now. Netflix never really got what they wanted because things changed just before I went to Netflix. And the bloodline storyline was the best storyline that they had in years. And it was still going strong even when it had its ups and downs. It was still going strong. And there's a lot more they could have did with the bloodline. The bloodline storyline could last even without Roman. It could have went. It still could have went another way. That's the problem. Changing things. And look, I know it's entertainment. Like, just throw out a wrestling match. Like AEW. There's no. It's not a cohesive unit in AEW. The storylines. There really is no storylines. Tony Khan just putting things together. I want to see this guy fight this guy, that guy.
He's playing with his action figures IRL. That's
exactly
pretty much what it is.
But with WWE, they're trying to make a show with a show, but the storylines mean a lot. Like, the storyline that was leading to like freaking goddamn Kevin Owens going crazy against Cody Rhodes because after all he did, his blood, sweat, and tears to take down the beast, Cody Rhodes teams with the devil. And then the whole thing with Seth Rollins, McIntyre, that storyline was great. All these people that stood up for Cody Rhodes to help him win his championship. Cody Rhodes like spit in the face of everybody. I'm going to team up with the other guy that we had to take down, the tyrant that was going on for 3 years that did everything he can to keep the belt and power hungry fuck. Now all of a sudden, Seth Rollins is a power hungry fuck. Yeah, does that make a lot of sense? See, Seth Rollins, I think the story had to change from what was supposed to go on because, they didn't want to keep.
What changed? Seth Rollins is the bloodline.
Yeah, it is the bloodline.
Solo Sikoa nailed it on the head.
Yep.
It's the bloodline. From the fact that they have a wise man to they have Seth to they have, Solo Sikoa nailed that in his promo before on SmackDown.
That was great. That was great. That was funny.
100%. It's the bloodline. They're just retelling the same stories. And I can't contain my anger anymore. Listen, my anger for professional wrestling in 2025, I feel is justified. We were on a rocket ship of professional wrestling in 2024, all the way through WrestleMania. You couldn't get hot. It was white hot. Professional wrestling was cool again. It was white hot going to WrestleMania. Where did it die? 2025, Netflix premiere. The minute The Rock came out and did what he did on Netflix, it's like WWE has been nothing but a dude on an ice not being able to find his footing. They're stumbling every step of the way. And it was never more evident than night one of WrestleMania, how poorly booked WrestleMania was, how it wasn't booked to the last minute, how all these shows are booked at the last minute, how all these PLEs are weeks apart.
2 weeks apart.
Yeah, they've been 2 to 3 weeks apart. Then now we move into, you put the belt, you have Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble. We all had to stomach that. Okay, cool. Jey Uso was yeet, crowds loved him. The underdog story, the unpredictable Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. I think you were the only one that saw Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble.
I know. The reason why I saw him winning the Royal Rumble was because the interactions he had with Cody, what happened, because it was like that Cinderella story, and that's the same thing with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is going to get that Cinderella story. He's going to win. But now, does he turn heel in the process? And he probably will.
And that's what makes my blood boil. As we get told, Paul Heyman went on Impulsive and said it. We've heard it over and over again. WWE doesn't do anything without a payoff. They don't put promos out without a payoff. My God, for the first 4 months of this year, it feels like all we've heard about is people coming out to Cody, people coming out to Jey Uso going, oh, we're friends, but, I'm not going to stab you in the back. I'm going to come from in front of you. And when I'm the number one contender and I'm going for this title, we're going to have a completely different story. What do they do at Money in the Bank? They make Jey Uso win the title at Mania. Everyone saw it coming. They put it on the first because everybody knew it was coming.
Yeah.
A blind dude, you could have saw it coming. All right. Then we get to Money in the Bank.
The Braille.
Jey Uso really doesn't have any real competition. He fights Seth Rollins. It ends in interference. He fights Logan Paul. Okay. Yep. We get to Money in the Bank. Praise WWE for taking the good shot on Naomi, for putting faith in Naomi, somebody who's been there for a long time, was screwed over in the Vince McMahon era, left, went to TNA, cut her teeth, came back once Vince was gone. Great for Naomi. Awesome choice. Naomi's been doing great heel work.
And you nailed that, Matt. You nailed that.
You have the opportunity to do something with pushing LA Knight, who is, by all intents and purposes, a fan favorite.
And deserves to be.
Okay. And you go with Seth. What does Seth need? Seth doesn't need these accolades. We don't even know who this group of Seths is. We don't know what their name is. We don't know why Braun Breaker's there. We don't know why Bronson Reed's there. All we know is Seth Rollins' motive. Seth doesn't need Money in the Bank.
He doesn't.
LA Knight needs Money in the Bank.
Nope.
You give LA Knight the Money in the Bank, and you give him what he couldn't do in 2 U.S. title runs. Because let's be honest, LA Knight's 2 U.S. title runs, boring, garbage. By the way, Io Sky, boring, garbage. I know you like Io Sky, but her first title run was boring and garbage. This title run has been boring and garbage.
Why is she not defending her title?
Who knows? Who knows?
This is what they do.
So we get to Monday night. Jey Uso versus Gunther 5. Why do we need Jey Uso Gunther 5? So not only did WWE cop out and take the safe route by putting the Money in the Bank briefcase on Seth Rollins, why do we need? Why all of a sudden is it just like everything this group does, it just goes their way?
All right, Matt, real quick before you continue, there probably is a reason why Gunther won the championship, why Seth won Money in the Bank. Could it be Netflix? They want these top champions They want them on the brand. They want it in Netflix to have the draw. They want the big names, and they want these guys. I don't think Jay was bringing that to Netflix.
From what I heard,
makes no sense.
Jay, the reason Netflix is the reason Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble and was champion in the first place.
I know, and that's the thing. But I also think that there's two parts of that story. Look, and I understand. Freaking goddamn Gunther and J5. Yes, that is absurd. And Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank, it should have been LA Knight.
But let me keep cooking here for just a second, Don.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's play fantasy booker, shall we? Because I like to play fantasy booker. You do Jay Gunther, whatever. Jay wins that match. Sami Zayn wins King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. Okay. We get to SummerSlam. Now you're paying off the Sami Zayn and Jey Uso are best friends. Honorary Uso, Sami Uso versus Jey Uso. Face versus face. Why can't we do that? Who cares? Face versus face. Friend versus friend. Everyone's a friend until you step across the ring from them.
Yep.
You then have Sami Zayn win the title off of Jey Uso at SummerSlam. How crazy would that be? But as Sami is getting ready to raise his hand, burn it down. Seth Rollins comes in. Braun Breaker from nowhere. Spear Sami Zayn. Tsunami. Seth just, curb stomps Sami. Pins him 1, 2, 3. Takes the title away from Sami. Something he has worked for. Karrion Kross said, "You'll never be champion." Sami wins it. Has it for 3 seconds. Seth takes it from him. Then you follow the story of Sami redemption arc. He goes and he wins Royal Rumble. He wins the belt back at Mania. Such a better story than Gunther. You gave Jey Uso. We went through all of that stuff from Royal Rumble to Mania, those 2 months of buildup for him to have a Kofi Kingston level title run. And yes, Kofi lost the title in seconds to Brock Lesnar and got squashed, which wasn't right. But 2 months, not even 2 months, a month and a half. Because Mania was what, April 19th? And
yes.
Yeah, it's June 12th. And he lost the belt on what, June 9th? So he didn't even make it 2 months as champion. We all knew he was going to have a short title run. And I understand this whole titles changing hands, keep things exciting. And I get that. But it's also about long-term storytelling. And for me, I like unpredictability as much as the next guy. And I'm not mad that Jay lost the title. Don't get it twisted. I'm not a Jey Uso stan that's like, oh, Jay should. I'm mad that WWE is once again playing it safe. They took the belt off of Jey Uso after they force-fed us Jey Uso, force-fed us all that crap from Mania with Gunther to do Jey Uso 5. And Gunther didn't have to do anything to get a number one contendership. There's so many people that are in line that deserve a title shot. Gunther just came out and declared, oh, well, on Raw after Money in the Bank, I get my shot back. What? Yeah. Why? No, nothing. It feels like twofold. WWE didn't trust Jey Uso as champion. 2, WWE doesn't know what to do with Gunther unless he's got a championship. Unless he's got a championship and somebody's chasing him, it's like WWE has no idea what to do with Gunther or what feud to put Gunther in. Like, I think Ilya Dragunov getting hurt was the worst thing for Gunther because they don't know how to put him in a feud with anybody else. Like, what are we doing here? It just, the Vince McMahon aspect of it all of we're going to see the same people over and over again. Gunther versus Jay, Mi Chin versus Chelsea Green.
16.
Yeah, how many times do we have to see the same matches, man? And that's what Triple H's first go when he first took over from Vince. It was exciting. It was fresh. It was new again. we weren't seeing the same fucking matches.
He did say there was going to be a difference to it.
After week. Gunther had a long IC title run. Gunther had a good World Heavyweight Championship run. Why does they didn't do anything with him on TV when he wasn't champion? Why does he get the belt back after a month? It just doesn't make sense, man. You could have had some good story angles playing in to SummerSlam that carry you to WrestleMania next year. Sammy getting so close. And then you have Karrion Kross's prediction pay off where you think Sammy's going to win the title. Sammy achieved the dream, but only to have it snatched right from him, from Seth Rollins, who he's already feuding with. Like, what? Am I crazy here? And I haven't thought, like, Raw was a good show. It's been the best Raw in years. Yeah. Or not years, but months.
Exactly.
But still, the professional wrestling's good, but a lot of the rest of it is a snooze fest. Don't even get me started on SmackDown. To make SmackDown interesting, you had to fill it with Raw Superstars, which is what they did on Friday.
So don't get me wrong. I actually liked the Friday show before we got the Money in the Bank, the stand-up between Solo against the, Seth Rollins, stuff like that. The big thing, and Money in the Bank it had the some of the interactions that I was asking for, the big payoff that I liked. But you know what, Styx, go ahead, talk.
You had a SmackDown show opening with a Raw Superstar. SmackDown opened with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I know. And Monday night opened up with Cena and Cena. That's a SmackDown superstar. But Styx, what was your thoughts on Monday night?
So for Monday night, as far as the Gunther Uso goes, I was kind of in your neck of the woods, John, where I thought it was going to end in shenanigans and get a squash match where no one ends up. He'll retain because of some dumb reason, and Gunther will get pushed back to somewhere else to maybe push him into like a championship match against Cena or something. Get away from the Uso stuff, because yes, it was number 5, and technically, I think it was his 6th time going against him. Maybe not singly, but like in a match. Uso, I think he defended his title 3 times in that 2 months.
Something like
that. Logan Paul, Seth Rollins. Who else?
And Gunther.
Yeah.
Gunther.
He lost to Gunther
twice. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's what you've been getting out of these guys who hold the championship 6 months. They're getting 4. So I don't know. They kind of squashed them into, we're going to give you 4 defenses. You're going to win 3, and then you're going to lose that 4th again to Gunther. And then
it just really feels like they just have no direction with Gunther unless he's holding a championship of some sort.
Well, listen,
don't know how to.
I think it's the other way around. I don't think they knew what to do with Uso with the championship.
Well, that could be too, because they went right back to the well of putting him in a feud with Sami Zayn, and and it just seems like all these players are jumping from feud to feud to feud with no rhyme or reason, because we had CM Punk, Sami Zayn going against Seth Rollins. Now all of a sudden CM Punk is enthralled with John Cena, and Sammy's still here, and now Jey Uso's probably going to join that, and they couldn't get Jimmy's, and I wonder how much of it is that they couldn't get Jimmy's solo push going.
Well, what's funny? You talk about you talk about John Cena and stuff like that. It was wasn't it kind of odd that I know that friggin' Seth has problems with CM Punk. Wasn't it kind of odd that he comes out to make his presence known with John Cena? It didn't come out to make his presence known with Jay and Gunther that he's there. He didn't come out like his music could have played. And he could have stood there and just playing with toying with the situation. He comes out with John Cena and CM Punk.
Yeah.
And he does that he makes his presence known. But and that's the thing. I was thinking about that. I was like, wait a minute. So this is LA Knight is going to definitely be in a feud with Seth Rollins and company. I think I thought that Seth Rollins was going to have a feud with Gunther. I think that was going to be the next thing. But now that Goldberg's coming in and all that stuff, I think they're going to hold off the Seth with Gunther type of thing until a little bit later. That, don't get me wrong, you might hear Seth Rollins' song every time Gunther's fighting Goldberg. There might be a Seth Rollins sighting. But I thought it was a little weird that they just had him come out with the John Cena and CM Punk promo. And not the end. Like the ending of Raw could have went so many different ways.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And if you think about it, though, the John Cena CM Punk one makes sense because they both have something to lose and nothing to gain. Punk can lose out. They both have the opportunity to lose the title to Seth. Seth can stop Punk, who he's feuding with, from gaining the title. Yeah. Seth can also take the title from Cena. So that makes sense for Seth to come out there because he's the wild card and all this. Where Jay Gunther, there's not really anything there for Seth other than, what tells me that you're right about, and the reports are right about the draft coming after SummerSlam. Is that okay? Well, is Seth inserting himself in the world heavyweight title picture or the WWE Universal Championship picture because that title's coming to Raw versus the other one being sent to SmackDown? Is Gunther being shipped to SmackDown? Is that why Gunther won the title? Because he's going to SmackDown? I don't know.
There was one match, and I don't remember which one it was, where the announcer says this person has been drafted to SmackDown. Not moved over, drafted.
Well,
that leads me to believe that we're not going to get this formal draft. Every time someone moves over, they're just going to be considered drafted to that brand.
I don't know. Maybe look, you see they have a little promo that the Mr. Iguana is coming to Raw, that they want him, Raw wants him to come in because he's a merchandise seller.
Dude, that's another couple months.
But
portion then
it'll be over. Look, I can tell you this. Look, if you're gonna do something, we all know that Raw, they want to stack heavy Raw for Netflix because Netflix wants the big superstars. John Cena, CM Punk on the same brand with Seth Rollins and his group, this and that. That's a big draw.
This is why they need to float. This is why they need to have their big guys float.
Exactly. And that's a big draw. That's the money maker for you bring Roman Reigns into it, the scenario, this and that. That's a big. They want it now. Saying that Jay lost the belt. He lost the belt to Gunther because there are rumors and the cheat sheets that they're talking about. They want to reunite him with Jimmy, Big Jim.
Yep, I heard that.
Form a tag team again, this and that, because they need tag teams. That's another thing. The tag team division is bad.
It's in shambles. It's in absolute shambles.
Shambles. To stop a singles run, to put the band back together again.
That should have been part of the storyline, though.
You could have had a part of the storyline. You could have had, and look, don't get me wrong. They did right by giving Naomi the Money in the Bank because she wants, like you said, that she wants to get pregnant. She wants to get pregnant.
I'm fine with that.
She wants the last run, this and that, and it's great. The opportunity for good storytelling and the opportunity of good, a good show, keeps missing. They keep missing the mark when it comes to all these things. We like the Usos. A great tag team. You split them up. Jay had more of a fan following, more of a favorite as the two, and Jimmy Uso didn't really catch on. Jimmy could have did a lot of other things. Jimmy could have freaking went another direction, and he had no choice. Maybe go back to being a heel. Maybe go back to and make the storyline. Rikishi could have been a part of the Bloodline storyline to make it even more interesting. Rikishi, I would have brought Rikishi in. Because
Yeah, he already came out and sounded off online about his boy losing the title.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, he already said he's already fired. But imagine having him come out and being part of the bloodline, talking stuff, this and that. And that would have been cool because now, like I said, if you really want a hashtag and go back and recycle the bloodline storyline, I think you missed the opportunity. You could have took a little break from the storyline. The bloodline presence could have still been known. But now you're breaking up things. People are going their own separate ways, and you have two bloodlines. It doesn't make any sense. But
they're trying. Their views are down.
Yeah.
Netflix, their billion-dollar deals in jeopardy.
Yep.
They're trying to catch lightning in a bottle again with the Seth Rollins storyline, and it's not working. It's
not working because Seth Rollins doesn't need a pitch man. Seth Rollins is the pitch man. Seth Rollins is one of the best guys on the mic. You don't need Paul Heyman to be there to hold the bottle for him, and that's the problem. Look, don't get me wrong. I like the idea that Paul Heyman aligned himself with Seth. Because I was saying that for months. Roman Reigns is the bad guy in all this stuff. All these guys that are turning heel, they're not heel. They're just returning the favor of what Roman Reigns has done in the last 3 years when it comes to the whole overall story. Me personally, the only thing I can see with the Seth Rollins storyline is that you want to build up Braun Breaker. You have a big group. You have Braun Breaker part of it, of course, and you already plant the seeds with Paul Heyman in NXT when Braun Breaker was there to be Braun Breaker's wise man down the road. This and that. The story eventually what's going to happen. This is going to break up, and Braun Breaker is going to have his. He's going to have Paul Heyman by his side. That's the future. This storyline, it doesn't make sense now, but it probably makes sense a little bit later. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this and that. I personally think that Seth Rollins is going to be the odd man out of this whole thing when it's all said and done. It's going to be like a Judgment Day type of thing where what's his name? Adam Cope.
Edge.
Was part of the Judgment Day and he got kicked out. I think this is going to be something similar in scale like that. But another member is going to come. There's going to be another member. And we keep speculating. I keep saying Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, this and that. People are saying Sami Zayn.
He's the one that they wanted, right?
They did exactly. I don't think it's going to be
they wanted.
Like I said, to throw a curve in there, if Seth has the feud with Gunther, who is Gunther's friend? The only friend he has left. Tiffany Stratton's boyfriend, fiance.
Where's he been though?
Where's Ludwig Kaiser been though?
Where has he been?
For all we know, he got released too, and they haven't done anything.
I don't think he got released. How about this type of storyline? You get freaking Seth Rollins and his group beating the shit out of Gunther, and he comes out to help Gunther. He helps Gunther, this and that, and then he betrays Gunther, kicks him in the balls. Gunther falls down. Seth Rollins stomps him, gets the belt. He aligns himself with Seth Rollins' group.
Yeah.
You could have something like that because you haven't seen. Like I said, there's different stories that can happen when it comes to different scenarios. But hopefully, we'll find out what Seth Rollins' group is going to be, who is going to be, why everybody's aligning with them with Seth. Why does Seth need a group to become absolute power? Like I said, it makes no sense to a point where you talk about that you created the beast in Roman Reigns. It was your fault by turning Roman Reigns who they are. You're doing what exactly you said that you did to Seth. You did for Roman Reigns. The power-hungry mongrel. Absolute power. You freaking goddamn the Emperor. Absolute power. you know. But I don't know. Definitely, they need to pick up the game and storylines. They need to pick up the game. And Netflix, like I said, they could lose it. You know, wouldn't that be funny if they lose so that Netflix said, you know what, we don't want you anymore? They go crawling back to friggin' USA. You know, you go to Paramount. You go to Paramount. You go to Disney. Imagine Disney getting the rights to freaking wrestle. You know,
if anything, it would go to, well, that's something I think we.
And look, they didn't even.
I
change
thought
their
another
thing.
company was going to go to, but I think they might end up.
Well, look,
at some point, if the Netflix deal falls through, I think they would end up at Prime, at Amazon.
right? But look, they're PG. They didn't change the thing; it's still PG. After months of speculating that
it's getting worse. They're still blocking out chants. They're still blocking out things.
They want to stop people from cursing.
Want you to stop cussing. It's getting worse.
It's bad. There's kids around.
Remember they're blocking out the finger. Can't show the finger.
But half these kids that grew up in the Attitude Era, they saw titties and were seeing freaking middle fingers, all crazy stuff. Val Venus, freaking porn star, all these crazy shit.
Hello, ladies. Yeah, they literally did an angle where he was supposedly got John Wayne Bobbitt in it, and they brought in John Wayne Bobbitt.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say. So basically,
for you kids out there that don't know, he was a man who had his pee-pee chopped off. It's
exactly.
Story.
Then he sewed it back on, became a porn star.
Yeah,
there you go. But you know, I think this day and age, you want to change things around. It's still not you're still saying it's for kids. I think it should be much edgier, a PG-13 era. You know, not go that far. Have a little thing, and you know. But that's another thing too. Like I said, we don't know the state of what's going on, the real problems behind Netflix, real problems with WWE, what's going on, the viewership. Viewership is down because, me personally, you're right. There's a lot of people like you, Matt, that recycle stories. They do the same thing over again. They play it safe. You know, it's for something to thrive. You got to make changes. You have to do the things that people don't expect you to do. You have to look, and that's what all companies like Disney. Disney is taking chances. Yeah, look, I love the original cast in Star Wars. They tried new stuff. You know, it didn't work. People got mad, but it still shouldn't stop you from trying new stuff. You know.
You would raise.
I would rate
if they ever said we're gonna redo the original trilogy.
Dude, they already did. They already did in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
They rebooted.
I know they did, but I'm saying redo
I
the original.
I love the original trilogy. I love the original characters. I want to see them. I like to see more of those stories. But you got to keep thriving, put new things in. New character like LA Knight should have won that damn Money in the Bank. Should have won Money in the Bank. He should have been the go-to guy. Sami Zayn should win. You should have Sami Zayn versus LA Knight. You should have Sami Zayn freaking fight. Should have fought Jay for the belt. You should have had all these different freaking scenarios. You know, freaking, it's not happening on what they're doing. They're playing it safe and they're getting scared now. And now we're bringing back R-Truth. The fans' outcry. The company is in shambles.
There's something going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. There's
exactly
some kind of
Triple H. It's Triple H's time.
Turmoil.
It's Triple H's time in countdown mode. You know, yeah, that's right. Thank you guys. 1977 only. Yep. If you weren't around then, you're not a true fan. But
I mean, who knows? But let's switch gears here a little bit, and let's talk about CM Punk in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
We know that CM Punk has famously been on the record in 2020 with comments when he was in a feud with The Miz, when he wasn't even part of WWE, but he was in a feud with The Miz, and he told The Miz to go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you fucking dork. And now Punk, fast forward 5 years, Punk being the, for lack of a better term, rehabilitated company man, we'll call him. Talk about a curveball heel move from John Cena, the first real heel thing John Cena's done, is by telling Punk, if you want a championship match, you got to go and do it in Saudi Arabia.
Night of Champions.
At Night of Champions.
Mm-hmm.
The IWC has been an outcry. CM Punk sold out. CM Punk sold out. I don't see it as a sellout.
Nope.
I see it as he's matured. He has seen the progress that's being made in Saudi Arabia. Yes, there's still things over there that aren't great. Like
really quick.
The way they treat women and things like that.
Those things aren't changing anytime soon.
No, I'm sorry to hear, Matt. Really quick.
Go ahead.
Sami Zayn, for example, did not go for so many years. And he made his triumphant return because things are progressing and getting better. You know,
Minutely.
When you see the political landscape sucks when it comes to certain things. You know, sometimes money overrides your beliefs, which, you know, yes, you can mature.
And the Saudi prince is doing a great job of trying to change the way and view of Saudi Arabia by their and especially Riyadh, by bringing the UFC there, bringing all these other sporting events.
Yep.
And Punk's character, he said from the beginning, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money.
Exactly. And that's true.
It's true. That's true.
And so I don't potentially see it as a sellout. I think it's a growth. He's older. He's been around. He's matured. Things are slowly but surely progressing over there. Some things not as quickly as people may want. But what are your guys' thoughts on CM Punk and WWE doing this? Do you think it's too early for John Cena, CM Punk?
Go ahead, Styx.
I kind of thought it was. I had forgotten about his statement until it was brought up after the promo. I'm not 100% mad that he took the match. I thought maybe you could have prolonged it a little bit more. You know, make him struggle with the decision a little bit, and then go. You know, maybe something happens that he says, "Fine, I'll meet you at that at Night of Champions. I will see you there." Instead of just being a kind of a.
Think that potentially could be a swerve where this match doesn't take place?
No, I think the match is going to take place.
Like Cena takes out, like Rollins takes out Punk, and we don't actually see this match take place in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, well, you mean like maybe change cards subject to change?
As in,
he doesn't make it to Saudi Arabia, and somebody else.
Right, he doesn't make it to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and somebody else takes the spot. Maybe.
Ron Killings, maybe.
You think he'd be part of that? I think Ron Killings interferes.
I think that's going to be the Ron Killings is going to be on John Cena's ass the rest of the time he's got the title.
Yep.
He's kind of become a wild card with this whole resurgence and come back after the cut, right? I mean, so no matter how he came back, he kind of puts himself into a position of being that wild card where you don't know what he's going to do because his only feud, for lack of a better word, is with Cena right now because of him killing his child spirit of what he's doing with wrestling. And now he's going to have this, like I said, he's going to have a 360 attitude from being that jokey R-Truth. Now he's going to be that, straight to the point, straight man Ron Killings.
What they're going to do with him is they're going to make him pay off everything he said he was going to do on the way to Saturday Night's Main Event when he stood in the ring and kind of gave us his first look at him as Ron Killings, saying, I'm going to beat the hustle, loyalty, respect back into you. And now we're going to see that. And I think we're going to see Truth chase Cena, and Truth will be the reason why Cody wins the title back from Cena.
I got something different.
I see that. Yeah.
I say so. I think something different. Yes, I think R-Truth, Ron Killings will definitely play a major factor moving forward with John Cena for the rest of the year. But I see Roman Reigns coming back, interfering with Seth Rollins trying to cash in. Every time he tries to cash in, Roman Reigns is going to be there to stop him from cashing in. Until we get a Seth Rollins Roman Reigns match, legitimate match in SummerSlam. Either that SummerSlam or friggin' night of or we're gonna get it in friggin' the Survivor Series.
Or we're forgetting Clash at the Castle too.
Yeah, well, Clash at the Castle. I don't see that Clash at the Castle. I see Seth Rollins in Night of Champions trying to cash in. That's when we get the resurgence of Roman Reigns. Comes back, interferes, can't cash in. The next pay-per-view, he tries cashing in again. Roman Reigns attacks him again. Until we have that fight where they're going to fight. Don't get me wrong. Seth Rollins will win the belt off of somebody. He's going to win a belt. He's going to be champion. Don't know if he's going to be Gunther, if it's going to be freaking goddamn Cena. But more Cena, because I think Gunther, because I think Cody Rhodes is going to be battling Cena. That's going to be the main thing. That's definitely going to be on the card for a Survivor Series. You're going to get that. SummerSlam, you're not going to get the Cody Rhodes is gonna have other feuds. They're going to wait to the big the 2-night event of freaking goddamn Survivor Series, which makes no sense either.
You want to know what really scares me about what happened Monday? And I think one of the main reasons I'm so angry about them putting the belt back on Gunther, I start getting fever sweats thinking about what they did to Bray Wyatt and The Fiend in Saudi Arabia against Goldberg. And now we know Goldberg is pretty much on a collision course with Gunther. Now Gunther's the champion again. Are we staring down the barrel of Goldberg taking that championship off of Gunther?
No.
Seth being the one that takes the championship off of Goldberg?
No,
in no way.
Be,
you know what? It could be a possibility, but you know what? Unpredictability. We can talk about it. We can say no, that anything is possible in the WWE. Anything can happen. Look, as long as you get the Money in the Bank, no champion's safe. We know that. No champion on either side. But I think Seth Rollins is going to get interfered by freaking Roman Reigns a number of times. He's not going to be able to cash in. He's going to have a moment to cash in. Roman Reigns is going to be there to spear him, be there the super punch. Roman Reigns is going to be a thorn in Seth Rollins' side until Roman Reigns fights Seth Rollins to beat him. Roman Reigns has not beaten Seth Rollins. That's got to be a fight where Roman Reigns finally defeats the monster, finally beats his worst nightmare, that finally he defeats the guy that was always his thorn in the side. So that's a match that everybody wants to see. So I think that before Seth Rollins comes to the champion, I don't think they're going to give the belt back to Roman Reigns. Ain't getting the belt back. He's not getting the belt back anytime soon.
Not this year.
But he can interfere in Seth Rollins' freaking claiming of the belt on numerous times on each show. Listen, look, let me tell you something. This is the thing. Since we're not having the draft until September or October, whenever they decide they're going to have the draft.
If they do one.
If they do it, but your Money in the Bank. You can come and go on any brand to cash in.
True.
So you're going to see Seth Rollins trying to cash in numerous times up into SummerSlam and get defeated by friggin' Roman Reigns. That's why I'm saying we're going to get a Roman Reigns. I think Survivor Series. We get Roman Reigns versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins Survivor Series.
I don't know. I think that's more of a.
They did. Remember they did that though. They did that with Austin Theory.
More WrestleMania or Royal Rumble as main event than.
You know what? You may be. You're right. But it's going to be it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for championship, because Seth Rollins will eventually win the championship off of one of the guys. It's crazy turn of events are going to happen. Everybody's going to be interfered. Everybody's going to be involved when it comes down to it, because you're going to have a lot of different angles that happen. So, yes, I see Seth Rollins in Saudi Arabia in friggin' Night of Champions trying to cash in on Cena and get interrupted by Roman Reigns. at the same time, you have LA Knight that's going to be feuding with Roman. So there's going to be a lot of different things. Roman Reigns right now is he's going to come back. He's going to be coming soon because he's been out. They got to bring him back, and hopefully he comes back soon. And I think Night of Champions definitely that in 2 weeks, Night of Champions, right? 2 weeks.
Night of Champions, the 20. I want to say it's the 28th.
It's kind of crazy how these freaking pay-per-views are so close together. It's really annoying. That
2 weeks.
There's so many damn pay-per-views that are close by, which really suck. But I can see Roman Reigns coming back and Night of Champions.
June 28th. Yeah, and it's 1 p.m. our time, Eastern Standard Time.
That sucks because Saturdays are usually busy. I can't. Saturday afternoons, I'm usually doing things, and I can't watch the fucking thing. But we'll see with that. Monday Night Raw, like I said, Gunther winning the belt. They played it safe, put it back on Gunther. If they got a plan for Gunther,
I like Gunther. I just don't.
I don't like the angle the way they push it. Hey, look, there's a reason why that Jay fucking lost. They don't want Jay to lose. They don't want Seth to beat Jay for the belt. They take it
why?
off.
It makes sense for the story. Like, I understand that Survivor Series doesn't have the War Games moniker, but it really feels like we're building towards a Survivor Series War Game match with Seth, Bronson Reed, fucking
Braun Breaker,
and then now you got unfinished. I still think all intents and purposes we're getting a CM Punk Roman Reigns versus Seth. Well, probably Sami Zayn, CM Punk, Roman Reigns triple threat match versus Seth, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed at SummerSlam. But now you throw LA Knight into the mix. It feels like we're starting to slowly build a Survivor Series War Games team here.
Yeah.
And you're going to see the bloodline, the new bloodline, aka Seth Rollins' group versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and LA Knight.
Do we get a new member to Seth Rollins' group?
I think so. Eventually, yeah.
Eventually.
As the summer grows and goes, yeah. I mean, I like what they're doing by potentially not doing the drafts till after SummerSlam, because then you're giving these stories time to cook through the summer, and you're resetting before Mania.
Yeah.
Before the new year, going into the reset. Okay, cool. Get it. Fine. But I don't know, man.
Want to go to Vegas next year, Matt?
I'm thinking if the card's anything like it was this year, nope.
Hey, wasn't Raw in your neck of the woods in Arizona?
It was, yeah. Was I gonna pay $250 for a nosebleed seat?
Negative.
Nope. Where was it? Scottsdale?
No, it was downtown at the Phoenix Suns Arena.
Oh,
yeah. So
I'm not using it.
I think they need to play off this year, and I think the draft can be a reboot, and we'll see how it goes with people. But I think that a majority of the big stars are going to be on Raw, with more of the call-ups and the newer guys going to SmackDown. Because they want Raw to be stacked.
Yeah.
Look, Judgment Day is breaking up. There's going to be 2 Judgment Days.
Oh my God, that's a slow burn too,
dude. What about the Austin Theory and freaking goddamn? That's taking forever too.
Yeah, I saw a video today where someone said
yes,
they've been breaking them up for so long that
the bloodline broke up.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu debuted, broke up the bloodline, and won the United States Championship, and now the entire time that these two have been breaking up.
So
Theory and Waller have been breaking up.
I think Waller. I think it's gonna happen now, because
now they're to the point where they're showing them arguing with each other in backstage segments.
And then he just showed Austin Theory shake the hand of a guy he fought that he lost to. Then he didn't turn babyface. So I think it's gonna happen very soon. Very soon. That's just crazy, but it's funny though.
Which I think Austin Theory needs to go and come back, because he's still got that moniker of being Vince's boy, and as long as he's got that moniker of being Vince's boy, like Drew McIntyre once had,
Yep.
I don't think he's going to get a fair shake in WWE. I really think Austin Theory needs to leave and come back when, that whole like Vince's boy thing is gone, because they don't mention that for Drew McIntyre anymore. So hopefully you would think that
I feel bad
Austin
for
Theory would get the same shake
I really
to get
feel
out.
bad for Austin Theory because I think Austin Theory was a great talent. He was doing good when he was wrestling. He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, he is fantastic.
He's a good, and when they had him in top storyline, he was fun. He had charisma. He had he was good on the mic. He did all so hopefully you're right that he does go. See, that's another thing too. I can see next cuts, Waller and Austin Theory getting cut. In next line of cuts.
But back to Roman Reigns real quick, just so no one gets excited. I mean, there are reports that Roman's not coming back until right before SummerSlam. So I don't think he's going to be in Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions.
They have him on the poster for SummerSlam. So
yeah, I think he comes back right. It's going to be just like last year, where he comes back right before SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But all right.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on for news?
No, let's there is one, but I can work it in. I'm gonna try working in later when we talk about Raw a little bit more. Let's go ahead and review. Let's talk about Money in the Bank, and then we'll get into SmackDown. I don't even know if we need to review SmackDown. I feel like we kind of hit the highlights on it already.
Yeah, no.
We did. We kind of did. Yeah, I think the only thing I was gonna kind of bring up, I posted in the chat about the NWA getting that Roku deal. I don't know how you guys feel about NWA. I watch it.
It's a good deal, but like, who does NWA have?
I watch it from time to time. I think their product is good, but it's not caliber like you get like with WWE, and even lesser as AEW or TNA. I think like any indie promotion, they have good wrestlers, but nobody knows their name because they're not top brand. Like you can have someone good in New Japan, and they come over here, but the crowd here doesn't know them because they don't follow New Japan. So I think it's going to be a good deal for them. Hopefully it puts them into more of a limelight, like it did with AEW for a while. So when they got that TNT deal.
Let me ask you this. Saturday, the 15th is Triple Mania. Triple A Mania.
Yep. Cracker Cup. Yeah.
Where can we have they announced where you can watch that yet?
No. I think it's on Fightful.
Is it going to be on YouTube?
No. Is it Fightful or one of those pay-per-view channels? I can't think of which one it was.
Triple A being it's going to be on Max.
HBO.
Yeah, Triple Mania 2025 specifically. The Triple Mania is currently unavailable to watch legally outside of Mexico. In Mexico, it is broadcast on so it's only broadcast on Max in Mexico. As a result, fans outside of Mexico may need to explore alternative options like using a VPN or potentially resorting to piracy. Why isn't this on? If WWE owns them, why isn't this on Peacock or why isn't this on YouTube?
Well, that's what I said about Worlds Collide. Why isn't it on Peacock? Why is it on YouTube? Maybe it'll be on YouTube again. We're here in the States. I don't know. I haven't seen anything for that.
You would think that would be like, I know WWE Worlds Collide, but you would think that'd be the best way to get, the outside fans familiar with their product, because, Triple Mania is their like big show, and Los Garza is in Triple A Mania, but also so is Nick Namath and Ryan Namath. So Like they got TNA guys in there, they got WWE guys in there. Like, why isn't this being shown on TV in the States? Like, why aren't you putting this out there? Mr. Iguana, with how big of a overnight sensation Mr. Iguana's been, why aren't we getting this streamed on?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen. As I say, I haven't seen anything.
It's because of Alberto Del Patron. That's what it is.
Yep.
Your finalized card for AAA Mania is Vikingo versus Alberto El Patron for the AAA Mega Championship. Moose versus Joe Hendry versus Al Messe versus Al Hidro. I'll just call him Dr. Wagner Jr. for the TNA X Division Championship. Then you have Sanson and Francesco. I'm killing these names. Versus Angel Umberto versus Psycho Clown. And Pagano versus Nick Namath versus Ryan Namath for the AAA World Tag Team Championships. La Parca, Laredo Kid, and Octagon Jr.
Versus Los Vipers.
Yeah.
Abismo Negro, Taurus, and Hysteria. That's what make up
Mr. Iguana. Come on, man. Anyways, all right, let's talk Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide.
All right. Just as a reminder, our 10-point system: 10 points per match, winner call, pinfall, other. 10 points, any interference, etc. There really wasn't. I don't think we've had much in that way that really anybody called. So, first out of the chute, Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Iguana defeated the LWO and Dorado. And at the end of the match, Dominic Mysterio challenged OJR to a match at Money in the Bank.
Which is actually a really good match with Dom Mysterio picking up the W and having a really good showing.
Yeah, no, I had no problem with that. I'm a little concerned with the whole Iguana moving him over to WWE. I think, much like the people having concerns about Ron Killings, I have concerns about this and how long the flash in the pan is actually going to stay. You know?
Do you actually think this is happening? I think this is just a rumor that internet boys have started to run with, because I don't see Iguana coming to WWE. I don't see his.
I hope not. I mean, I liked him. Don't get me wrong. I liked him. His shtick was funny and good.
It was funny,
and he's a good wrestler. I can see that.
Merchandise. People loved him.
Yeah, but how many $45
TKO is looking at that merchandise sales. Iguana, come on, Mr. Iguana.
Yeah, but it's only going to be for a short period. It's not, if he does come, it's not going to be for a long haul. He's going to be right back down into AAA. They're going to use him sparsely, maybe here and there. That'll be it. Just for some T-shirt sales and to sell some Iguana puppets.
They should just treat him like Boogeyman.
Oh, Boogeyman.
Just pops up for an appearance, does some stuff, and then is gone for a while again.
Eat some worms and
that way every time he shows up, it's a treat, and then away he goes.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that. I don't want him to have any kind of push. I just don't see a need to have him come up. That's all. And like you said, the Dominic Mysterio Octagon Jr. match was good, really good. Really showcased those two in the end, Octagon Jr. For the most part, because that's what it was there to do. Other than this match, and the triple threat match that he had at AAA, but it was interesting. The way they set it up. 5 hours before the Money in the Bank? Or less than that. So,
well, and I mean, it helps that they were basically right across the street from each in the same parking lot.
No, I know that. Still, it's it's like with that made Octagon Junior like the third person to have 2 matches in one day.
Hey, quick before you continue, did you see Tiffany Stratton throw out the first pitch at Citi Field?
No.
The ball, and the ball went way out to the way behind the catcher, like on the opposite side. She didn't even aim towards the catcher. She was at Citi Field. I missed my opportunity. Okay, anyway, never mind.
So, well, what do you think on this one, Dom? On the other match?
I actually thought it was good. I actually thought it was fun. Fun. Like I said, regardless of the fact, Iguana, it's a gimmick. TKO sees a merchandising sale. You could sell the shirts. You could sell the figure the iguana. The iguana. That was funny how the iguana got beat up. He took the iguana.
He had a good shtick. He had a good shtick.
So I can see that. Let me tell you something. It's cool to see these stars that we never see before. Mm-hmm. To watch for like the first time, and you sit there amazed and like, holy shit, these guys are great. They put on a good show. Yeah. And it was.
What it reminded me of was the whole when AEW first started, and that double or nothing, when we got all those indie guys showing up, and we didn't know we got wowed by like Darby Allin and the likes in that show.
Yep.
That's what this does.
The Guevaras and Darby Allin and a lot of those guys.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that. I thought this was good. I thought that the show was put on good. The whole YouTube thing was kind of weird. Gotta go on YouTube to see it, watch it on YouTube, and see what's what. But when I found that, I was sitting there watching it, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. All right. Up next was the Stephanie McCurr and Lola Vice defeating Dailies and Chick Tormenta.
Let's talk about the double Devil's
Kiss, baby. Perfection.
I knew Dom was gonna like that one. That was.
I was like this.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Listen. I'm telling you, man, they're gonna be making t-shirts. Definitely Stephanie McCurr t-shirts. And not to say if anything, what the hell did Nikki Bella bashed her last name the way she said her name?
Dude, yeah, that she killed. She absolutely butchered it. It was like me reading something.
Butchered her last name. Like, what the heck was that? Who the hell?
It sounded like me reading.
But
Stephanie McCurr.
Look at that, the way she said it. But
McCurr.
Listen, let's put it this way. Lola Vice is on her way up. Apparently, there's a lot of rumors of her coming up to the main roster, this and that. And she'd be a very good acquisition, to the main roster, this and that. I thought it was a good match. Listen, let me tell you, Stephanie McCurr is a workhorse. You could see her work, that she loves what she's doing. She loves the fans. Like, I always love her smirk. When she has a smirk, when she's about to do something, and she's doing things that you can see that she's enjoying herself, and she likes to put on a show for the fans. And look, she knows that the fans are looking at her ass when she's doing the Devil's Kiss, and she loves that. She loves that.
Dude, that's my favorite thing, when she goes for the Devil's Kiss, the setup, and she gets a little smirk on her face, and she's got like a little piece of hair that she flips, and then all of a sudden she flips it and does the one, and then
she goes
right into it. Yeah,
I like that. And it was a double pleasure, double fun, watching both of them do the double Devil's Kiss. I thought it was a good match. I'm telling you, man. She, like I said.
Why isn't she in the Queen of the Ring tournament?
Well, she is.
No.
Yes. The freaking what's the name's not in it? Julia's not in it. She's in it. Julia's not in it. Because Julia is going to win.
Yeah.
The U.S. Championship from.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. McCurr is in with Asuka, Rodriguez, and Ivy Nile.
Yeah.
Oh, next week.
Yeah, next week.
For some reason, the Fatal 4-Way format has me.
I don't like it
off because I feel like I keep thinking that like the winner
Well-
of this match and will face Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia since it's only like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
I forgot there's
Well,
another round.
Remember, it's only
you can have
they're
a
time
round.
crunching it, so they have
So
to.
tomorrow night, you're gonna have two matches, the female for the Queen and one for the male, and then Monday Night Raw you're gonna have two matches, and then Friday night you're gonna have two more matches, and then it goes right into
Yeah.
Dynamite.
I prefer the one-on-one breakdown bracket wise than the Fatal 4-Ways, but because of the time crunch, they have to do the Fatal 4-Ways.
You know, and not for anything, you know, watching this fight, you know, Dailies and Chick Tormenta, you know, to see those girls in action, you know, to see what they can bring to the table. It's always cool to see that wrestlers that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. And I thought it was a good match. And I thought, it was a good match. It was well fought match and very entertaining. I do say so myself.
Yeah. I mean, you've already said it, Bakur, very good looking.
You know,
I say no piece of crumb cake on the floor either.
You know, Lola Vice. I'm telling you both. You know, listen, Lola Vice was a UFC fighter. You know, and then she went to to wrestling. So she made a name, doing her thing, doing her freaking twerking. That was her.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You got that
like twerk on SmackDown,
like a Shakira shake.
Yeah. So it was a good match, and I actually think that these two are definitely going to have. I think Lola Vice goes to Raw because Raw does need women. They do need some women. On
they need some tag teams.
Yeah.
Tag team.
Well, tag team. Listen, I actually see Stephanie. I think Stephanie Vakira is going to wind up winning the tag team championships. That's going to be her first championship.
They always do.
In the main roster.
You think so? I think it's going to be the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
I think
You think? Yeah. Listen, Evolution is coming out. I don't think they're going to put that on her right away. Julia, I think, will win a belt first before she does, and I think they're going to.
I'll tell you who's winning the Women's Tag Team Championship. Brie and Nikki Bella at Evolution.
Oh yeah,
because Liv Morgan already set that up, and
Yep.
It already came out today that Brie Bella is in talks with WWE to come back. So I guarantee you, Brie and Nikki Bella win those titles off of her and Raquel Rodriguez at Evolution too.
Yep. And I think Roxanne Perez will be the reason why.
Probably. I will.
Yeah,
not
she's been
doubt you
screwing
on
up lately, right?
I will
Because
not.
she won the Queen of the Ring. She freaking screwed Liv, and Liv is pissed at that. They're going to have battles back and forth, so she's going to come out.
I will not disagree with you, my friend.
All right.
Nice picture, Styx. I can't even tell who's in the ring right there.
Exactly, right? What is this fucking
Yeah,
goddamn
that was the best one I can
punch-out?
get of them.
What are these
like
muscle
punch-out?
men? Did you just take a close-up picture of your muscle men?
No, you know what this looks like? It looks like video game coverage from like Punch Out.
It does.
Glass
It's
Joe.
WWE. Yeah.
Like,
WWE in your house.
Legado del Fantasma defeated El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. and Pagano with Psycho Clown.
I didn't
Good,
like this.
good,
'cause
really good match.
I like Psycho
really good
Clown. I wish I like Pagano and Psycho Clown. I wish they would have won, but
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, it gives a little bit of leverage to Del Fantasma. They haven't won a lot. They got to be utilized a little bit better. Look, I can honestly say that they're a good cohesive, tag team. Without the.
did you say they're good queefs?
No. I said cohesive.
Oh, cohesive. Oh,
it's the way I say.
I was like, what? Good queefs? What are we getting at here, Dom?
Nah, I think that they're a legit tag team. When they tag team with each other, and I think they are formidable players if they put them in a good storyline and good stuff. I could see that since AAA is owned by TKO and WWE now, that these guys, El Hijo and Dr. Wagner and Psycho Clown, you can see them showing up on some Raws and some SmackDowns in the future. So, yeah, it was good.
Agree. Very good. Up next, Ethan Page retains his North American Championship for NXT against Javon Evans, Ray Phoenix, and the Laredo Kid.
I'm happy, but pissed at the same time. Because if he would have lost, his main roster push would have been even better.
Dude, I was shocked by the outcome of this one because I thought for sure Javon Evans would
I
win this
know.
match.
I thought so too.
But
But you know
Ethan
what?
Page won in a very Ethan Page fashion. Like I said, if he's going to win, it's going to be like on someone else's accord, and that's pretty much what it was, is that he came out of nowhere to secure the pin and win. So
Look, I'm going to tell you this. You know, unpredictable. He won here. He could lose at a pay-per-view. It's going to be happening very soon when it comes to another pay-per-view. So, but I'm happy he won. Hey, listen, I said I'm a big supporter of Ethan Page. And, you know, I want him the main roster. He should be part of Seth Rollins' group. I'm going to keep saying that. You know, put it out there in the ether. You know, I don't. Hopefully, it does happen, but I don't know. We'll see. But this was a very good match. This was a very entertaining match. I enjoyed this match.
I did as well. I wanted Devon to win. Ethan, like Matt said, the way he won it was an Ethan Page fashion. So
you know, it's funny. We all picked Javon Evans winning. You know, we all knew that the Laredo Kid is not going to win. You know, Ray Phoenix wasn't going to win. You know, we all said that Javon Evans because he's the most logical guy to win the win. But you know what? They had other plans.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
This was a fantastic.
it was
fight.
Match of the year, 100%.
Yes, it was, man.
Yep.
No, I have to applaud Chad Gable.
Absolutely.
My man is working double overtime. You know, he's doing things. And I'm telling you, man, if that man is not a champion down the road with something, I don't know what WWE is doing. You know, we joke around. You know, Chad Gable's been around for a while, but the work he's putting in the last couple of months, and this fight, this match here, come on, by far, like the best match of the year that I've seen. And Chad Gable definitely on a pedestal, like awesome, man. And that's all I can say, man. That he put on a phenomenal show.
Chad Gable can't beat luchadors, but he sure as hell can put on incredible matches with them.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, look at how he was manhandled, and I will say manhandled, on Friday Night SmackDown.
I know.
Dude. And then he still did 2 matches.
He got destroyed by Braun Breaker. Yo, dude, I didn't know that Braun Breaker get even higher. He's going to jump at the end of the freaking goddamn, the end of the just as he comes in, he's going to jump. That's how far Braun Breaker keeps coming.
He's going to jump from Gorilla to the ring and knock someone out.
You're just going to see him come flying out of Gorilla like Superman down and just catch a draft down the entranceway.
Exactly. But Chad Gable, I'm telling you, man, like I said, awesome fight. This was by far the really exciting and fun match. So,
and I will still say, I think Matt has said this before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Gable should have been the one to beat Gunther when he had that feud with him.
100%.
Yeah,
for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah,
which again, they did the same thing to Jay there. Jay beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Jay lost to Gunther with the Intercontinental Championship. No, sorry, it was Braun Breaker. I apologize.
Braun Breaker. He did it twice, so you know
he still lost. Yeah. Yep. All right. Here's our reveal. Matt. So because of the Dominic Mysterio match, yes, Dom, you put it in the chat that you were going to take Dominic Mysterio. I think we all would have, but we didn't have, since we didn't talk about it on the show. I gave everyone that extra 5 points.
And Worlds Collide. You gave everyone an extra 5 points in Worlds Collide for Dominic Mysterio?
For no, what did I give it?
Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank.
No, I know it. It
was the extra
that one there too.
Yeah, the extra. It was the Money in the Bank that he fought. That's it. That's the extra 5 points. Should be Money in the Bank.
was this fight. I'm sorry, this 5 points was for the iguana match because we didn't see the we didn't talk about the iguana match.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Did we?
Yeah. It was
All
Dominic
right.
Mysterio in the Money in the Bank that she
God damn it! This game is quickly becoming Styx trivia. On
And last
Friday
week's
night.
show we talked about the iguana match.
Yes,
I
we
didn't
did.
have it on the slide. I don't remember. Oh, did I have it on the slides?
No.
I believe
I don't know. You
believe
know
so.
because the Dominic Mysterio match he made the comments on the Friday night that he was going to fight him in the Money in the Bank. When I said Money in the Bank, he actually did the Money in the Bank. It happened in Money in the Bank. That he I was like,
No, I'm talking about the first match with Mr. Iguana.
No, Mr. Iguana was part of that. We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna. You still got 5 points. So
Nice. Dub only got 5 points.
Hey, listen,
What a
all I know
slacker.
all I know is
I don't remember.
I don't know how Matt pulled off 45 points, but that's besides the point.
All right, I didn't think it was on the sheet. So, yeah, Matt 45, Pete at 25. Dub the courtesy 5 points. I only had 35 and Don had 35.
How did Dom only have 35 when he had 40 points in the World's
Or
Collide? and
45. I'm sorry, that should have been 45.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That's why I'm like, what the hell's going on? Damn, Styx.
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 All right. All right. Money in the Bank. Becky Lynch defeats Lyra Valkyria.
We
Not
all saw
surprised.
this coming.
We all saw this coming.
Not surprised. It was not a contender for match of the year, though.
We all thought, well, it was a solid match. It was a good match. Lyra and Becky have had good matches.
Yes.
Becky is out there definitely carrying. She's doing great heel work.
Dude, let me tell you something. Who thought, oh my God, freaking goddamn, this girl is back on Monday night. Freaking
Bailey.
That outfit came back.
Which people saw her around Phoenix, so I knew she was going to be back.
Yeah, she was coming back. But, she's good. So that's going to be a triple threat match. You have a triple threat match, which this is another thing. Why is Valkyria still in the fold? That's it. You lost the belt. That's it. You shouldn't go back for the belt. Let it be Becky Lynch fighting Bailey now. But I want to keep pushing that.
Lyra and Becky have unfinished business, so we're going to get Lyra, Becky, fucking 92.
Yeah. And listen, and then now that Violet's a little pissed off that the Bailey came back now, and the look at her face when she came back on Monday night.
Yeah, Lyra did not like Bailey coming back. Huh?
Nope.
You
Now
stuck
she's
your
done.
nose in my business.
So
And now I gotta make you my business.
And you called my husband a geek freak, and she keeps saying, freaking Becky keep calling my hot husband.
Yeah.
Nah, so we all knew that she was gonna win.
Ouch. What you doing, Styx? Trying to go back and do remedial math again?
Let's see what
Plus
I
one
did
is
here.
3.
Where did I give you this 5 points at?
If I take 5 points off of this guy and shade off 2.5 points, this way we have 7 and 1.
I'm gonna take 5 points from Dom and give him to Matt.
That's okay with that. All right.
I am okay with that. You're right.
All right. Up next was female Money in the Bank. Naomi grabbed that briefcase.
Why do you have her like yelling? Like she looks like she's like Donna Summer singing.
Donna Summer. Yeah. I didn't think she would win, but I understand. I think I agree with Matt why she's winning because of that whole that push that she wants and
blew my opportunity when
I
it
get
came
it.
to this.
Yeah.
I should have took her to Naomi too. Matt was on the money with this.
Naomi was the only pick in this. Naomi.
You know what the best thing in this match was? Stephanie giving the devil's kiss to Rhea on the ladder.
Yeah, why didn't Dom get 5 points for that? Because he definitely said that was going to happen.
Exactly.
He called it. He called Devil's Kiss on the ladder. But that's all right. I don't care if Dom got those points or not.
That's okay.
Dom, you're never winning this championship.
Damn, man.
Styx is doing it. Styx, you must have been lost in the time tunnel.
My head has been in
Whoville. Too much Doctor Who.
Whoville.
In last minute mode here at work. So
Yep.
Dominic Mysterio retained over Octagon Jr. Good match.
Yes, good match. I'm telling you, Dominic, I wish this is the thing. I don't like the way WWE utilizes the championships. Every pay-per-view, they should be fighting. They should be in feuds. You're a champion, you should be in a feud. Regardless of the fact. And every pay-per-view should have all the participants who are champions on.
See, I typically agree with you here, but I like the way that they're handling Dom and how like underhanded and like last second it is. Like I like that he's just coming out there running his mouth and challenging people to matches willy-nilly. I like that too. I like that too. I also like the respect that he had. He went to Eddie Guerrero's grave, put the Intercontinental Championship next to him, took a picture, talking to Eddie Guerrero, which is kind of cool, man. Like I said, everybody praises Dominic. He's that's his Uncle Eddie.
You know what's crazy? He's young, but he's been around forever. If you think about it, since a kid, he's been making his presence known, man.
He's had a good teacher. His dad, one of the best luchadors ever to do it.
Uncle Eddie.
And Uncle Eddie.
Yep.
Or that's his. I don't know. He needs to get on Maury Povich and get a paternity test to find out who his real daddy is. But
exactly, that's funny.
Yeah.
Damn,
Pete's the only one that called this.
I know. We all took over freaking LA Knight, man. LA Knight was there. He was there. Hey, listen, who likes the best part when Solo went up there? I hate you, Solo.
Yeah. Well, we all saw that coming. We all saw Jacob Fatu getting involved.
On Friday night when he was talking, he said that Jacob Fatu stupid.
Yeah.
So, yep. So we also
I hate you, Solo.
Seth freaking Rollins, man.
Safe play.
Yep.
It makes me wonder if this was a last minute card subject to change booking too, because it makes me wonder if just to throw the swerve, they're like, oh, we're going to give it to Seth versus LA Knight, because the way it played out where LA Knight was there at the end and then they cost him and Seth won. I don't know. I feel like this was the wrong call. This was a safe play. Seth shouldn't even have been in this match. Like, look at you have LA Knight's been around, but you have upcoming in Penta. Andrade's not doing anything. Solo Sikoa is in a storyline. El Grande Americano. There's guys that you could have put the belt on to help push their career, especially, El Grande Americano. Imagine Chad Gable trying to have to explain that he's not El Grande Americano when he's the champion, and so you can't see Chad Gable carrying the belt if he's not in the El Grande Americano mask. Look at these two schmucks both looking at their phones.
I'm trying to fix this.
You're not fixing anything. But all right, Seth wins. What else we got?
And next was the Cena. Cody Rhodes, the Jey Uso defeat John Cena, Logan Paul. Ron Truth Killings interferes.
Did anybody see Truth coming back?
Nope.
Oh,
complete shock,
No.
surprise.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, we talked about that kind of already, but
And it was kind of a whatever match. Like you saw a little tension there between Cena and Logan Paul when they kept tagging each other in and out. But yeah, I was super shocked by Ron Killings coming back. Super glad that Truth is back and he's going by Ron Killings again.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see what he's going to do next. I was a little disappointed on Raw in this promo, how he did come out and he didn't address anything that happened at Money in the Bank. All he did was thank the fans for their voice in bringing him back. And the show went on. So, but again, we know that John Cena is going to win these matches by any means necessary till he's ready to lose the belt. So it's fun to have Truth involved or Ron Killings involved.
Yep.
And so I retallied. I have a retally here. So for Matt,
Pete
you had
win?
25 points.
Yeah, how did Pete have 35?
How did Pete have 35?
Pete had 35.
Nah,
And I have 15.
I'm calling a recount.
No, you end up having 25 because I gave you 10 points for the ladder there. For her, you calling the devil's kiss on the ladder. I'll give you 10 points for that. 25. That puts you tied with Matt with 70 points. In the overall.
Me and Matt are forever combined again.
Nah, see, I think that's some.
No, I don't think it's bullshit. I think it's right. I don't know. There's some shenanigans over this.
I'm the only one that called Naomi winning the women's match. The only match The only match I called wrong was the men's ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
So how did Pete have more points than me? That means he had to have called every single match right.
Pete had more. In each. He had 3 right. So he had 3 right in Worlds Collide, and 3 right in Money in the Bank. Whereas
I had 45 points going into Worlds Collide or going into Money in the Bank.
You actually had 50 at Worlds Collide.
Okay.
Yeah. And then 20 at Money in the Bank.
So what? The matches are 10 points apiece, right?
Right.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50. There's 50 points just on matches alone.
You had Cena Paul winning.
No, I didn't. Oh wait, yes I did. Yes I did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
You're right.
I took friggin' Jay and friggin' right?
Yeah.
Jay,
you and me both took Jay and Cody.
No one picked Ron to come back. Friggin' all truth. So
So then there's 40.
That was off the cards because he had been released.
So then that's 40 for me if they're 10 points off. Because hold on.
Matt, don't worry about it. We tied. Next paper.
Now you got me doing sticks math.
Freaking Night of Champions.
So
Night of Champions is coming.
Hold on. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Called this match 50. Right. Called this match. Called this match. This week I got an extra 5 points for him. So okay. So take 10 off. So we got 5. So that's 45 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, minus 10 because I called out wrong Seth. So that's 35.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's 25. So okay. All right, I'll give it to you. All right. Yeah. I still don't think Pete got 35 points, but
we're still co-champions.
Nah.
Yeah.
Let me find where he put in. You guys talk so much in the chat. I gotta go back so far.
I call shenanigans.
I call it's the right call, but shenanigans is the other point because I should be leading.
Nah. All right, we'll take it.
Well, you know what? Listen, good call, guys. We're getting better.
Are we getting better, or is it just WWE's becoming that more predictable?
That more predictable, I think. Well, we didn't.
You know what's not predictable? Styx' math.
Yep.
That's
Styx,
true.
well, Styx is trivia. Styx is math. It's awesome.
All right.
Nah, Styx, we love you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So Pete had Lyra over Becky.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen. Naomi winning.
Okay.
Seth winning. And he had Cena Paul winning, which didn't happen. So he had.
You know what? It's all right. Don't worry about it. We're still up there. We're still.
So then me and Pete should have been tied for Money in the Bank because we both got it. He took Lyra. I took Becky.
Mm-hmm.
He took Paul and Cena just like I did.
Let it be. Let it be.
No.
He's scrapping and climbing.
No.
I got 70
I will
points.
rework. I will rework this, and
I got 70 points.
and for the next one, and I will come up with something.
He might find out I got 5 more points. I might be the winner.
So Pete got this match wrong. And
Leave alone, we're tied.
Well, I'm serious. So Pete got 2 matches wrong, and so did I, because I called this one. I called this one. We got 5 points automatically for this one. I did not. I got this one wrong, and I got this one wrong. So Pete and I should have been tied for Money in the as far as Money in the Bank points go. You don't know how to math, Styx.
Maybe. Well, I will say that my math skills were not on point.
I found the discrepancy. I have 85 points.
Quit adding points to your total, Dom. You do not. Listen. All right, come Night of Champions, I'm going to keep track, all right?
Yes.
I'm keeping track.
We'll keep track.
I'm going to check your math when we review Night of Champions.
Hey, listen, Styx. 2 + 2 is 4, not 5. Not 3.
2 + 2 is a fun time. That's all I know.
There you go. Hey, listen. The Devil's Kissed. 2 + 2. So.
There you go.
Your math.
No.
Math. It isn't mathing, buddy.
You see, look, Matt. You see, this is what makes wrestling fun. Talking about it and having a good time and joking about this. You know, yes, it is aggravating because there's things that we question. But as I always says, friggin' just believe in the system, believe in the journey, and see what happens. You know, just hopefully it leads to bigger, better things. You know, I'm hoping SummerSlam we get the appearance of Brock Lesnar to help Roman Reigns take down Seth Rollins.
Dude, I think every
That's
time
a pipe dream right there.
I think every time Dom says that Brock Lesnar is going to come out for something and he doesn't, Dom loses points.
Yep. I should, right?
Start taking
every week. Dom's like every PLE. Dom's like, "Well, Brock Lesnar gonna come back." Dude, Dom, Brock Lesnar's not coming back.
He wouldn't be getting.
Brock Lesnar's gonna come back.
He wouldn't have any points because every match he's like, Roman Reigns is coming back here.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is gonna come back here.
Listen, between
Roman come back here.
Between Brock Lesnar and Ethan Page, I'd be freaking going 0.
And Goldberg. And what
I think's gonna happen is that Roman Reigns is gonna come back. He's gonna go cash in, and you know who's gonna stop him?
Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar,
Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's gonna come back.
Brock Lesnar.
Nah, dude.
Nobody's coming back.
Listen,
they're gonna be a clean slate pretty soon. The way they're cutting. So.
That's funny.
Oh well. All right, you want to talk about the Raw after?
Let's do it.
Let's do some reviews.
I mean, I feel like we've already reviewed SmackDown. We pretty much reviewed Raw and all of our conversation.
No, we did. Listen, we're on 2 hours. We can do a little bit more chatting and then get ready for next week. You know, we'll talk about next week.
I feel like we reviewed it all, man. We
did. Man.
Like,
we reviewed it all.
I think the only thing we haven't touched. I watched the highlights because it was late, and so I watched the highlights for NXT this week. I was surprised. I'm still surprised. God, I'm still surprised that Obafemi isn't going to get. Like you keep talking about this Ethan Page push to get up to the main roster. When is Obafemi going to get hit?
I actually think Obafemi is.
What the hell?
No, because I think that this new kid from that's fighting him is the next big thing. And I think,
I think
draft
so
for
too.
Troy.
yeah. I think
Hell of a match between those two. Hell of a match.
Obafemi, I think Obafemi comes back for Royal Rumble next year. I think he becomes.
I can see him going. Yeah, that's maybe.
Let's talk about this. Or go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your NXT, Chuck, and then I got one last thing I want to talk about.
Yep. That was he freaking. What's that kid's name? The one that freaking manhandled freaking Obafemi?
Jasper Troy.
Jasper Troy. That guy's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a beast.
Yeah, I agree. I think whether he's the next big thing or not, I don't know. I think he's going to be good for NXT when Obafemi does get his push into, because he's another big guy.
You like
that'll take his
big guys, don't you?
Well,
that's why I think Odyssey Jones will never come back, because I think Obafemi is going to be the next.
There's Dom's next one, Odyssey Jones. This is the second time tonight he's mentioned Odyssey Jones.
Odyssey Jones.
Once before the show started, and this is the first time during the show he's mentioned Odyssey Jones.
I think we have a better chance of seeing Osmosis Jones before we see Odyssey Jones.
That's it, man.
Dom's
really
really pushing that Odyssey Jones.
Yeah, come on, man.
You know.
Break, man.
Yeah. Where was I gonna? God, now it just flew out of my head. We should have all these listed. The one girls match there. Not the girls match. The Don's match for that.
Tony
that
Dan.
that was. I hope they end that
rise
quick. They need to get that over quick, because I think they had a good thing with him, and being the whole mafia kind of back thing. Once they started breaking it up, they got to break it up. They got to learn to break things up quicker.
Hey, what's up,
know what they're
Fletch?
doing.
What's up, man?
All right.
Hey, welcome in, Fletch. I like Fletch too. So.
I don't know. I thought NXT was kind of boring this week, other than.
Well, you know why? You know why NXT is a little down now? Because freaking Julia's not there now.
Julia and Stephanie aren't there.
So it kind of like
I can't see someone's ass bouncing off the mat and hear out Booker T go,
You have a double Julia.
Yeah.
I put my sweatpants on this week for nothing.
It's like this. It's like this. You get a rise.
Dom's definitely not rushing for the. Dom's definitely not rising for just the Judgment Day. Fletch says they rushed the main call-ups on the women's side. You think so? I think Stephanie was ready. Stephanie's been ready. Julia maybe.
Yeah,
Stephanie was for sure ready.
I think the whole thing. That's one thing. I know Stephanie. You see the NXT lost Roxanne and Julia. Yeah.
What?
Exactly. Well, at once you're right, and that was a big part of NXT.
Well, think about it though, because we said that she was going to drop the belt to Jordan Grace at Battleground. Didn't, but then loses it and goes up the very next NXT.
He lost it in a regular freaking show. So that's what they did on Raw with Jay. He lost it
to Fletcher's point. Fletch, I'm going to help you out here. To Fletcher's point, it was rushed because at the end of the day, they had to. We had the injury, and so they did have to rush it to bring her up.
The Julia thing, I think it was a contract thing. I think because it was kind of weird. She came back the next week. Oh, I got to take some time off. It's just,
She's gone for about a month.
Yeah, she was gone for a month, but I think that it was more of a contract thing.
There's a good one. What do y'all think of? God, they can't think of her name now.
What's it?
Monet?
No, what was her name in Mariah May? Now being called Blake Monroe.
Yep. Yep.
I like the Timu Timeless. You're not wrong.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Listen, I'm telling you, they're gonna try different things. See what happens. Like I said, the division, the women's division is still good. There's a lot of talent because Jordan Grace is coming up too. So you gotta have the division. You have all those kids that are coming up from
Evolve and
Evolve, what I'm saying? So you got some good stuff. Like I said, the draft they're gonna deplete a lot of the women and men in NXT, and you have the new people coming up. So
yeah.
I think Dom should lose 5 points every time he mentions the draft too.
Oh, so no one, man.
Ding ding ding. Whammy.
Fletch said I'd have Jordan stay at NXT for a while, be NXT champion, call her up next year.
That's a good call. It's the same thing, but I think that it was either going to the main roster off the bat when she signed, or staying in NXT, going to NXT to learn the WWE ways, because you got to understand that the WWE has their own type of wrestling ways of wrestle. So if you're in another organization, you come over, you can't just jump in and know everybody's thing. You have to know the type of wrestling that they do in WWE to fit into that.
And listen, we've said it ad nauseum on this program that NXT, well, up until kind of recently, quite frankly, has been the better brand.
Yep.
When it came to the 3 shows.
But I think they had to. Like, Stephanie was always going to get called up because they offered her the ability to either go main roster or NXT before she even signed.
Did it. Her wrestling status is great. She did it because of her English. She wanted to learn English.
Yeah.
And then, so we always knew she was coming up. But then I think, like I said, the release of Dakota Kai, and then the releases of when they released Shayna Baszler, and
Zoe got hurt. Zoe got hurt.
Yeah, and then Zoe got hurt. So they had to replace. So it makes sense that Roxanne, I think, was always going to get called up, but I think them releasing Dakota, they had to fill that spot with another woman, so that's why they called up Stephanie. Julia going to SmackDown is 100% because Zoe got hurt.
100%. You might be right, Fletch. Ricky Saints. That's actually the perfect angle in the main roster.
Seth Rollins equals revolutionary. Ricky Saints equals revolution. Must be televised. See where I'm going? 4th member. I'm sure Dom's right in the same boat you're paddling in.
I know. Hey, listen. I'd rather have all ego. Friggin' Ethan Page show up. Was always my 4th member. I've been saying that for months. Months, weeks, whatever. How long?
Like
every match.
Dom and Fletch are paddling the same canoe.
There you go.
What I want to talk about last thing.
Yeah.
Ethan Page is great.
Love Ethan Page. He is great, man.
Last thing I want to talk about is, do you guys feel like when you look at the bracket for Night of Champions for the King of the Ring tournament, that you can kind of predict who's winning in every bracket?
Kind of.
Like they just okay, Sami Zayn, Penta, Breaker, Mysterio.
Well, listen, you see Penta? It looks like he got legitimately see Cross. If he can carry a Cross, should be it. But did you see Penta get hurt? He got hurt on Monday night. Don't know what the extent of the injury is. He got hurt, legitimately hurt. So could that be, if he's not able to perform in the King of the Ring, we see Karrion Kross? Imagine it's Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross at the end of the end of the battle.
Well, they already have the next Raw, Sheamus, Rusev, Bronson Reed, and then a player to be named later.
That's
which. Who do you think? Who do you think the player to be named later is?
Dragunov.
You think so?
I think he comes back.
Dragunov?
Yeah, Dragunov.
I think if you say his name, he'll appear.
Yep.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
You sure about that, Joe Hendry?
I'm not sure about anything. That's what I think.
You know what? It could be, but there's rumblings.
I'm about as sure as Joe Hendry as you are that Brock Lesnar's coming back. I'm about as sure that as Joe Henry as you are that Roman Reigns is coming back. I'm about as sure as you are that the draft is coming.
Hey, Matt, come on, man. You love my predictions. You love my freaking goddamn swerve.
I do love the dirty Dom dirt sheets. You're right, but I'm just saying.
Listen,
let's not sell it short. Dom is always 100% sure whether it's real or not.
Dom is his own best.
He goes in.
He believes all the shit.
100%.
100%. Dom believes all the shit he's dropping. So he's his own. You know, he's the greatest hype man. That's right. But yeah, so I just look at this, like the women's side specifically. Like you had Rhea Ripley, Kairi Sane, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez. We knew Roxanne Perez was going on, right? Then on women's other side, you have Jade Cargill.
That actually was really good match.
Jade Cargill, Michin, Piper Niven, Nia Jax. Nia Jax was queen of the ring last year. It's Jade Cargill, right?
Jade Cargill, definitely.
Yep.
Then you have Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Candice LeRae.
Yep.
I think we all know Charlotte Flair is going over there because they like to spoil their own stuff. The same reason they spoiled that Vikingo was winning the AAA championship off of Alberto El Patron almost a week before it even aired.
Wow. I think that also had to do with the fact that they don't like Alberto El Patron. But
they don't want him winning the champion. But you know what? Yeah. Listen, it's predictable. The cards are predictable. And you know what? It could be either one or two people. I'll say that the mystery player, either a Dragunov or Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross coming in, and if Karrion Kross is that fourth guy, he's winning. It's going to come down to Sammy versus Karrion Kross. That would be a great story because he's been really, really friggin' obsessed with Sami Zayn winning and becoming. So that'd be great. You know, I don't know. You know, if they don't do that, bad storytelling.
And then you got Asuka versus Stephanie versus Raquel versus Ivy Nile. I think it's pretty clear. I think Stephanie's winning that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think you're gonna get your second round is gonna be Roxanne Perez versus Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair versus Stephanie Vakir.
Yes.
I think Vakir goes over. Oh God, I don't know. I think Vakir goes over Flair to go to the finals.
I actually think she does go to the finals, but doesn't win. She's not going to win.
Yeah, and I think Jade Cargill goes over Perez to go to the finals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think Jade Cargill is going to win the whole thing. Yep. And then she's going to face Naomi, who will be champion at SummerSlam. Because I think Naomi is going to take the belt off of Tiffany. Probably Night of Champions, or probably Evolution.
Maybe. Hey, yeah. See, look, even if you see Sammy and versus Cross would be freaking awesome. Definitely, it would be an awesome match. Yeah. So Jay is doing a movie with Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Testament, called the Testament or something like that. Something Testament. So,
yeah, but I don't know when that starts shooting. I know she was announced that she was going to be in it, but I don't know when that starts shooting. But I mean, we're only a few weeks away from all of it, so I don't know, I just feel like Jade Cargill's the pick on that.
They did say that she was going to get a big push, though. Here we go. This is the big push right here. So we'll see.
And then you got Randy Orton, LA Knight, Aleister Black, and Carmelo Hayes. I think LA Knight's winning that. Honestly.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. So SmackDown, So SmackDown is the it's gonna be friggin'
SmackDown is Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Andrade, and Shinsuke Nakamura for some reason.
All right, I actually think that Aleister Black is going to interfere with the Bronson Reed fight because they messed him up in SmackDown. They roughed him up in SmackDown. So I can see.
Want to know what? Go ahead, Dom.
What?
What were you saying?
I was saying that Bronson Reed is not going to win because I think Aleister Black is going to interfere because Aleister Black was desecrated by Seth and Breaker and friggin' Bronson Reed on SmackDown.
He was what? Did you say desecrated?
Decimated.
Okay.
Decimated.
Oh, decimated. I think he said desecrated.
Decimated.
And then you have Sheamus, Rusev, Bronson Reed, and a player to be named later, which I think is going to be Joe Henry.
Yeah.
Do you think they pull off? Do you think we see Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton in Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions for King of the Ring?
Maybe. That's because...
every part of me wants to say Sammy's winning King of the Ring, but it would also be a big seller if
it was Randy
Orton won,
yeah,
and he beat Sammy, and then Rhodes won, and he beat whoever. I think out of that group, either Bronson Reed or the player to be named later is winning to go to the semifinals.
I don't think Bronson Reed's winning. I think Aleister Black's going to interfere.
Okay, so so then at least player to be named later. I don't think it's going to be Rusev. I don't think it's going to be Sheamus.
The player to be named later.
No.
It's gonna either be Dragunov or it's gonna be friggin' goddamn friggin' Karrion Kross.
Yeah, but you could use Night of Champions and King of the Ring to build Cody versus Randy again for a title. Like you could use the events of that to lead us to that match because right now they're buddies. You got to have something to make them where they're not buddies. And unfortunately,
like I said,
you don't have Kevin Owens there anymore.
Be great. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, right? And again,
Salvation Seth Rollins. Look at that.
Hey, there you go.
WWE Championship chasing. There you go.
Yep. I think, me personally, you want really, really high profile matches. Cody versus Randy, which would be great because you would have that, and it would turn the tides that Randy would probably eventually become the Viper again. You know, the Viper of just taking out the opponents that, he's unpredictable. And then, again, Karrion Kross versus Sammy. To get Sammy over that edge to a point where that'd be perfect for Saudi Arabia, those two matches right there.
But sadly, I think you're going to get Randy. I think you're going to get Cody versus Sammy. And Cody's going to go over Sammy.
Yep. So they're not doing the ring anymore. You got the crown, you got the ring when he beat Gunther for the crown,
I forgot about the
remember that ring?
I wonder if they're going to do that. That's the crown jewel.
Yeah.
That would be defended in Perth. Or no,
yeah.
But crown jewel's not in Perth.
Yep. No, it's going to be in Australia this year.
I thought it was in Paris. I thought it was in Paris.
No, Australia.
No, that's Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
Crown Jewel's in Perth. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, so
it'll be in Perth.
No, but that's going to be in Australia this year, not in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
It's not this year, but whenever it's going to be.
Because I hope they have a throw another shrimp on the Barbie, dingo ate my baby street fight.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Dingo ate my baby.
Outback brawl.
The Paul Hogan Memorial Battle Royal.
There you go.
American made beer.
Yeah.
Really piss people off.
Well, listen, we have Clash of the Castle, right? I mean, not Clash of the Castle, freaking Clash of the Champions. I figure Night of Champions. Night of Champions in 2 weeks. I can't wait till we actually we pick the who's gonna win.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait till these PLEs are a month apart.
I know, right?
Like 2 weeks apart.
You could have a Saturday night. Saturday night main event could be once a month. You could have a Saturday night main event once a month. 12 Saturday night main events throughout the year. You could have that.
2 months. Yeah.
You could have that. And pay-per-views, you don't have to listen. You want to make 2 nights of all the big ones: Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. That's oversaturating with 2 nights. But I understand if you do 2 nights, you get wrestlers that normally don't make it to the things. You can get them on, so you have an extra night. That's great. But these other pay-per-views, they have to slow down with these other pay-per-views. You definitely have to slow down. But they're dropping the house shows to make these pay-per-views so they can make money. and they're not going to fucking stop until they pay off their debt. So,
Guess we're never getting it back.
every week we got a pay-per-view we talk about.
Yeah. This week in PLE news.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you guys want to touch on before we go?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward tonight at Champions. I'm looking forward to seeing what they actually book. We probably won't get it until the week of to see what they actually book, like we've been getting. But
do we want to do a live watch along for Night of Champions?
We'll talk about that. Because I don't know if I'll be available because it's at 1:00, dude.
Yeah.
If I'm out,
man up. If I'm gonna push double duty and do 2 podcasts in that,
it's not the thing about double. It's about man up. It's about the fact is that I have to go with my wife. We go up to Jersey and we have to do a couple of things. So it kind of like it's hard on Saturdays because it's my day off. Like my day off. I can't do during the week.
Yeah, who wants to go to Jersey?
My wife would go
shopping. Nobody goes to Jersey on purpose, Don. Come on.
Hey, her brother lives in Jersey. Her parents go to Jersey a lot, so I kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always think he lives in Ohio.
Oh, but no, keep in mind
I'll go solo and do a reaction on my own without you two schmucks.
You could actually AI us in here and go,
whoa there, buddy. Blow your roll.
I'll just have Dom saying, Brock Lesnar's coming out. Brock Lesnar's coming out.
He's the page.
Yeah. Just
You're
Brock
gonna start saying
Lesnar on loop.
You're gonna start saying that for all the female matches too. Here comes Brock Lesnar.
And I'll just
Brock Lesnar's daughter's coming out.
I'll just find any pixelated image and pass that off as Styx. But
you could put the great doctor from Doctor Who.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's where we will end this week's show. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out all the other professional wrestling content we have on the channel. And we'll probably have a link to some great stuff here at the end of the video. If you want more takes from Dom and Styx, you can catch them tomorrow night over on Redivision. You can find the link to the channel in the down below where they're going to do the qualified, talk about comics and all kinds of crazy stuff. You can see Styx try to do more math as he probably does a Styx trivia or something.
Oh, yeah.
You can catch Styx and I right back here Saturday night for Saturday Night Special, which is a comic book pop culture entertainment show that we do here. You can catch Dom on Renovision again Sunday nights for the Star Wars show. You can check out Styx over on his channel, Boy73, on Tuesday nights to talk on Doctor Who Rewind, which leads you all the way back here to us next Thursday night. We're going to be talking about more professional wrestling, and hopefully I find my love for professional wrestling again this week.
You'll find it.
We're going to go through another week of me saying, fire Triple H, I hate
you know what?
pro wrestling.
You forgot to mention that Stephanie Fakir wasn't on Raw, and you were upset.
I was upset.
But the fact is that she did double duty. She's a workhorse. So she already fought in Worlds Collide.
I was more upset because I didn't understand why she wasn't in the Queen of the Ring. Like, I totally missed. But like I said, I totally missed that she's in the next one. But I keep thinking like the fatal 4-ways are throwing me off because I'm still thinking that next week is the semifinal and then the week after that is the final. So it's just the fatal 4-ways, 2 rounds of fatal 4-ways per show is what's throwing me off.
Yeah, that's why I'd say they're too close together. They got to spread it back out.
Yeah, thank you, Fletch and Salvation Seth Rollins for coming into the chat. Talking. Hopefully, you guys just come in next week.
Hang out, talk a little professional wrestling, have a good time. Nobody's opinions are ridiculous. My thing is leave CM Punk alone. He's not a hypocrite. People grow, people change, opinions change.
Also, money talks, the bullshit walks. Remember that.
Yeah. Sure. But I will make sure to I'm definitely picking up the new CM Punk t-shirt that's going to be coming out that I can't wait to own. That once I get it, I will wear on the shirt. I sucked a blood money covered dick, and all I got was the undisputed WWE Championship. That shirt is going to be legit.
Let's do.
And on that note, Domtober, words of wisdom. Send the people home with what they come for.
And words of wisdom, we were talking about all these pay-per-views that happen. We didn't get it with everything. We don't get enough of stuff, and now we're getting bombarded with so much stuff. And when it comes to wrestling, we are at a crossroads right now where wrestling is still up there. It sinks, it goes up again. But at the same time, we're getting more than we bargained for, all different types. We're getting to see things that we never seen before, like AAA. We never thought about watching AAA.
I've watched AAA. AAA Mania this Saturday. Finding out a way to watch it.
But it opened up
VPN.
It opened up my horizon when it comes to professional wrestling. That there's more than just WWE and AEW and TNA. There's a lot more out there that of different people that you've never seen before wrestle and put on great shows. So, anyway, words of wisdom is that there's a lot to look forward to. Some good, some bad, some whatever you want to take it. But we have it, this and that, and just enjoy what we get. Enjoy the process. The journey may be slow. The story might be slow, but enjoy it. And sometimes I make no sense talking about these words of wisdom because I'm trying to find things to talk about. But, words of wisdom, just stay true. That's it.
You can literally give us anything. Your word of wisdom could literally be, wipe front to back, not back to front. Good night.
No.
It could be anything.
I know. I just have in my mind when it comes to this point, I always try to overthink, and then when it get to the point when you get, I'm like,
always use the C.
Let me talk about something. Nah, you're right.
Dom's words of wisdom is: no matter what life throws at you, then Brock Lesnar comes back.
In the ring, the lights go down. Roaring crowd, they scream and shout. Chants echo, shaking the ground. Warriors clash, the game is found. Welcome to